The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Thornwicket is absolutely spot on, ladies and gentlemen. 4 from 4 for you on a Friday night to round out the month of July. How quickly is that flying by just quietly? Night 5, week 4, term 3, 5, 4, 3. Like the countdown that Joe Trucker Baldwin just gave me to get on air tonight. Welcome to the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook and YouTube. Friday Night Motorsport live, exclusive and free. Beginning with GT1, the Civil War, and their venture to Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta for sprint racing tonight. We're very excited about that. Then onto the streets of Long Beach. So we've got the East and the West Coast of America covered this evening. The West Coast hosting round number 4 of Disruptive Labs Road to Indy action, and we cannot wait for that. Zach Coburn alongside Joe Baldwin. Great to have you here on the 31st of July 2026. Yep. 4 weeks down by the end of the night and only 6 to go and only 5 months left in the year. What the hell? 11:17 local server time here as qualifying comes to an end. Let me come back to that in a moment because all that information is about to update right about now. There we go, right on cue. 4.06 kilometres the Michelin Raceway here at Road Atlanta in Georgia. And it's one of our favourite stops on the tour, and it should produce some really good elbows out racing tonight because they're going to have to get them out with the urgency on trying to work your way through the field if you're part of the invert top 10 going into the second heat. On that subject, let's have a look at the championship standings as we venture into this round, Joe, and it's been one-way traffic really so far for Andrew Dyson, but he hit a bit of snag last week. Caught up in a couple of incidents at Donington Park, but he still leads the way. Adam Funslow second, the margin 44, 307 place, 263. And then, of course, Travis has a party, 255. Thomas Sinner and Adam Lavis make up the top 5. What's that? 91 points covers the top 5 at the moment. You have to go back to 6 to find the first Chev. That's Nathan Michael, then Doug Gowans, Martin Davis, Greg Heaney and Darren Lobb. Grid. It'll come as no surprise to anybody to see that Andrew Dyson is again reigning supreme. He's on pole position. Alongside him, really good, promising signs for Darren Lobb and Chev, more to the point. Second row, Adam Funslow and Adam Willison. Third row, Brendan Grosh and Alex Dzikas. Fourth row, Doug Gowans, Adam Lavis. Fifth row, Thomas Sinner and Richard Brookfield. Track and weather settings, 17th of July 2026. We've actually gone back in time. Queensland audiences know what that's all about. 6 kilometre an hour winds, 38. That's north, tending northeaster, if you don't mind, ladies and gentlemen, that you got going there at the moment. 30 degrees the ambient, 44% humidity, 46 degrees on track, but dry conditions so far, albeit cloudy. The 6th row is where you're going to find Jason Douglas and Josh Zuno, Martin Davis, Rodney Gollan from the 7th row, Thorn Wiggett, Nathan Michael from the 8th row, Greg Heaney, Jordan Pianazola from the 9th row, Brian Bullock, Jolan Hanson and Cameron Dakin rounding out the field. Jet Murray, Craig Fraser and Brett Bradbury have been in the server but haven't taken to the grid. So there you have it. We're ready to rock and roll. Dakin and Hanson, the last row here. A field of 20. We're ready to rock and roll on a Friday night. The doubleheader for you. 10 tops into open wheelers. Let's get them on. No John Merritt this week, which means Andrew Dyson can check out and say to everybody in his rearview mirror, catch me if you can. It should be a case of order restored tonight for Dyson, at least in race 1. The challenge will be Joe Baldwin working his way through the field in race 2 from likely position number 10. Good evening to you.
Yeah, good evening, mate. And hello to Starkey. I seen he put a comment in there, much missed member of the club. But yeah, look, mate, what a great venue we've got here tonight. It's Road Atlanta. You can't go wrong here in just about any car that you plan on pedaling around here. So it'd be interesting to see if the guys up the front there, up the front of the championship, Dyso and Lobb, if they can continue their run of good racing.
Well, Darren Lobb needs a turnaround result. He's sitting 10th at the moment on the back of that second in the opening week. He wasn't on the grid last week, but he was in the top 10 when he was here in week 2. 4th and 8th in the 2 sprint races for him. So, a big opportunity for him to get back on track as far as this campaign is concerned tonight. We know that in 3 weeks' time, at the end of our 7th round, which comes to you from Road America, oh, that'll be a beauty as well. 40 minutes around there. That never disappoints. That will be the point in time which we see the drop rounds brought into the equation, which will give us a better idea as to where John Merritt sits, where Darren Lobb sits, etc., etc. Now, no John Merritt tonight, which is a little bit disappointing because he cleaned up last week at Donington Park in the UK. It was the first time we'd seen him this season, and he took 101 points away from that championship round, but we haven't seen him beyond that. So with 3 drop rounds, essentially, 2 zeros already being dropped, and obviously giving the rest of the pack a 1-round head start here by not being on the grid a 3rd time, we're probably putting a line through him. This remains Dyson's championship to lose. The 44-point advantage he's got at the top of the order would be a fair supporting evidence for that statement. Down the back straight we go. Good to see Darren Lobb sticking with Andrew Dyson. Adam Funslow there in 3rd place. Was the early pace setter when I logged into timing a short while ago, but obviously Dyson and everybody else, as they come up to temperature, restored order. Adam Willison, Brendan Grosh, Alex Tzidakis, Doug Gowans and Adam Lavis, the top 8 right now. Jason Douglas holds down the invert pole slot in position number 10. We are at the end of the 2nd lap here. Let's get an idea of where we are lap time wise. And that's a fairly good run from Andrew Dyson in the 1 minute 16. So, all right, let's do some mental arithmetic, Joe. It's a 15-lap race. 15-minute race, I should say. So if we're going around about the 116s, let's round it back to 117.
4 minutes for 3 laps.
There's 2:34, and yeah, and then 3 gets you up to about 3 minutes and 50 even. So 3 minutes and 50, and 2 is 7:40, and 2 is 15:20 if I've done my numbers correctly. So 369. I'm looking at 12 laps. What about you? Do you reckon we're on the money?
11,
yeah, 12 laps.
Yeah, 11, 12 laps. Be somewhere around that number. Depends on if they can keep the pace up. So the temperature. I actually jumped in and did a couple of laps around here just to get a feel for what these guys would be doing. But unfortunately, the track I was on was like 57 degrees. I've never seen a track hotter than that, and it was like driving around on grease. So these guys, I'm sure their track isn't anything like that at the moment. So I don't even know what the conditions would be like. Hopefully they'll have a lot more grip than what I had earlier on. As Alex Tzidakis, he's had a bit of an incident. He's gone off track.
Down back into 6th spot now. He hasn't lost any positions, but he's running off the road.
Run wide.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, through the grass too.
The first bit of lawn mowing done for the night. Very good.
Martin Davis shows he had an incident. No, he must have just towed. That's all right.
Yeah, I'm not picking that up. The biggest movers so far, 2 positions gained only for Jordan Pianazzola and Cameron Dakin. They're up 2 spots already. Everybody else no movement so far. 3 non-starters. We have a field of 20. I would have expected a couple more potentially because it's Road Atlanta, but still, 20 is a good number, a nice number. It means half the field will be inverted for that 2nd race coming up a little bit later on. Don't forget, stay with us, folks. Partway through the show tonight, we will spin the wheel. We'll get Johnny Burgess out to spin the wheel for you for the determination of where MtnMen's heading with regards to the car of choice for tomorrow night's 32-lap adventure around that famous 6.213 kilometres of motor racing real estate. Andrew Dyson leads. Wheel paddles failed, says Brett Bradbury. Geez, we've had some technical issues so far this season, Joe. I don't recall a season where we've had more technical drama than what we've had dished up so far through the first 4 weeks. My goodness.
Yeah, between tech dramas and net codes across the service. Yeah. And I mean, we've had a lot of it. We've seen with the racing with the gents, but even the Pro Series and stuff, I've seen the guys mentioning it in there. So obviously iRacing have messed with something in the background, but personal technical foes that... Darren Lobb, what have you done?
Funslow goes with him. Oh, that's a championship-defining moment right there. Funslow's being gobbled up. He loses a bunch of spots. Thomas Sitter comes through. He drops to 9th. Make it 10th. Rodney Gollan down the inside. And maybe even Martin Davis. No, Darren Lobb trying to get back by. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Funslow back to 10th, Gollan to 11th, Lott back up into 12th place. Funslow begins to charge back through the field. How easy it's done, how easily it's done here at Road Atlanta, I should say. Michelin Raceway is what I was trying to spit out. Adam Funslow had nowhere to go. How many times have you seen that trucker?
Yeah, out of Lobsy, he's normally pretty tight on this, but that corner is so tricky in this car. It's off camber. There's now with the 3D curves, you touch the curves and they'll get a bounce, and that's exactly what happens. And it looks to me that's like what Darren's done. It looks like he's just snagged that inside curb as he's come up. So he's come here. Oh, he's grabbed the curb on the outside. On the entry to the corner, he's grabbed the curb, and as it's come down, it was unsettled and just got the rear loose. And yeah, he done everything he could, held the brakes, but unfortunately, Adam, instead of zigging or zagging, he went straight up the middle. Cameron Dakin's having a bit of a rough night.
Adam Funslow back up into 8th spot now. He's just got by Thomas Sinner and Richard Brookfield, so he's charging back through beautifully. But the damage already done. And look what that's done at the front of the field as well, trucker. Andrew Dyson gone, 3.8 to the good. Brendan Grosh holding down second. Adam Willison there in third. Grosh was good last week until it all went belly up. He'll be hoping to redeem himself this week. Big dive down the inside lob. No, that was covered off. So the road through to 10th was covered, blocked off beautifully by Richard Brookfield, who knows full well that he's holding down an invert pole position right now. If things stay as they are, half race distance has come and gone. We're on lap 7. We're good for 12, ladies and gentlemen. That's a magnificent start from Andrew Dyson. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta, 4.08 kilometres this circuit around. And we invert the top 10 for race 2. We are 4 from 4 on a Friday night, bringing you the double header. How good to be with you to end the month with a tear around 2 of our American favourites, of course, Long Beach to follow in the Indycar series, which I hope is very well supported tonight. And we'll have another big moment. And see, that's the thing, Joe. If you don't spin it going through the corner and grabbing that ripple strip on the way, you can trip yourself up running over the ripple strip in the AstroTurf on the exit, the runoff area. So it is a double negative, that corner, in the way in which you can get stung. If you nail it, great, no worries. But if you get it wrong in the first part, you get it wrong in the second part, you're gone. You're a passenger. And some have been very unlucky and they've got it wrong in both parts of the corner, and the incident's been far bigger. Have a look at this. Funslow, Douglas. Funslow right up around the outside of Douglas. Thanks for coming. Up at a 7th he goes.
He's fighting back.
Douglas will fight back on the inside. Cinema, what a piece of this is. Well, bang and gone! Douglas smashes into the wall! Had to see that one coming! They were getting greedy with the real estate on the left-hand side. Both of them wanted the racing line, and only one of them could have it. Jason Douglas, the right-hand side of that car, absolutely smashed. And Darren Lobb off the road again as well. Darren Lobb off the road again as well. He drops down to 15th.
Oh, what's Darren done? Darren's gone off track here. So this is Darren's incident. Oh, up the top of the hill. I bet he's pinched the rears. There he goes. Yep.
Bang.
Right over the crest of that. Needs to wind his brake bias forwards a little bit, Lobsy.
Now, could that have been also a contributing factor to the first incident?
Could be, yeah. These cars are quite sensitive to brake bias, I think, and keeping the tyre temperature right. So if we have a look, this one from the drone.
Yeah.
This was a great exchange by Funslow and Jace Douglas until it wasn't.
Yeah, correct. As is so often the case. Down the hill they came, and on the inside there, you can see that Douglas had the line on the inside, but Funslow's on the outside. Funslow's got nowhere to go. He's hugging the white line on the outside of the racetrack, Joe.
He was, yeah. I don't think Adam's got a case to answer there. Just on a quick glance there, I don't think Funslow's got a case to answer. He couldn't give him any more room. He was hard up against the left-hand side of the track. And Jace just didn't quite give him enough room, knowing that there was a car to his left there. So, unfortunately, the way the car just turned like destination right, and just took him straight off into the wall, and it was quite a big impact, that one. So he's actually coming through the pits now. He's obviously going to use up his fast repair. Oh, sorry. He's going to use his fast repair and get back into the race. So, but I'd say getting involved in the top 10 invert is out of the question.
My my esteemed colleague here battling, shaking off the frog in the throat. And, and a few other things. The triple negative for Joe this week. He's been a bit unwell. We're not referring to it as man flu, but if you want to shorten it, that's probably the best explanation. But you know, he's been off work, so this is his return to normal after a couple of days off at home. For Trucker, we appreciate him stopping on in to bring you Friday Night Motorsport when most other people would say, you know what, I will call in sick. But no, such is the love for the club and sim racing in general. Truckers here on a Friday night, and we very much appreciate that. Dyson, Willison, Grosh. Willison's got by Grosh, important to note. DeVrickis and Dougie Gowan's up in 5th spot. Adam Lavis is 6th. Then it's a big gap back to Funslow, Sinner, Brookfield, Golan and Pianazzola. Pianazzola holds down 11th at the moment. Golan holding down the invert pole. Richard Brookfield's moved ahead of that. That was at the expense of Darren Lobb's incident. Josh Zuno has just lost out to Darren Lobb on the comeback trial for the second time tonight. He's into 13th. Thorn Wiggett, of course, sitting in race control. Nathan Michael sitting there 15th. Greg Heaney, Jovan Hansen, Brian Bullock, and Cameron Dakin. And there's Zuno doing his bit to mow the lawns around Michelin Raceway Road, Atlanta. And Jason Douglas at the rear of the field. With that quick splash and dash, as to say, Joe, to get the fast repair through 9 laps. He's nearly a lap down, actually. He could be a lap down by the end of this to this man here, Andrew Dyson, who completes lap 10. We're good for 2 to go.
He's there we go. So called it. No further action. That's that's a case of 2 into 1 doesn't go. Like, yeah, if he'd have hung to the right, just to the middle of the track and pushed it down to turn 1, he would have had the inside and probably could have made a clean pass, you know, having the preferred line on the inside. But I mean, a guy like Adam Funslow, he's going to make his way forward. So he's actually he's about 5 seconds behind Adam Maverick now, so I don't know that it'll go much further up. But when you flip it around the other way for race 2, this is going to put him in a good position to get some points back on Daiso, depending on what sort of a race Daiso has in race 2. But I think the last time we had a reverse grid race, didn't he win it from memory?
The last time, yes, did the double at Brands Hatch. Yes, correct. He did the double. The interesting thing in all of this as well, Joe, is he leads by 7.7, so he's going to see the white flag this time through. And it wouldn't have mattered. Like, Daiso gets us to 12 laps. These two would have, and just about everybody in the top 17 in the field would have got us to a 12th lap. So 1 more to go. White flag flies. There's Barney. At least he's on deck tonight.
He is.
He missed the pilgrimage over to the circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya for the Porsches. Dougie Gowans. No, that's trouble. Oh. Dougie will wear an invoice for that one. Adam got crunched on the exit. It was just a small clip that he wore. But just going back to your point about Adam Funslow, mate, like, as we know, such is the savage nature of this racetrack. If Adam had so much as put 2 wheels on the grass on the left-hand side trying to give way to Jason, he would have had his own incident. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely.
You go on the grass here and it just flicks you out. It spits you out something chronic. So he would have been in all sorts. So Funslow did the right thing there. Held tough, held the line right up against the white line. Unfortunately, there had to be a loser in all of that. It was Jason Douglas. Watch for him to come back through the field in race 2. Watch for this guy to come back through the field from 10th as well. He's about to get vaulted back down the order to 10th on the grid for Heat 2 for the second time this season on the back of race win number 4 in the campaign. Sprint round number 2 of the season. Race 1 honours as they did at Brands Hatch. Go to DPR Racing and Andrew Dyson, who's cleaned up yet again. It's a DPR 1, 2, 3. Brendan Grosh and Adam Willison 2 and 3 across the line. They come now. And then Adam Lavis. So that was a swap around because Grosh had lost out to Willison there for a little bit and got him back in the latter stages. Lavis through for 4th. Funslow a good recovery to 5th. That's a really solid comeback through the field. Thomas Center, Alex Tzickas, Dougie Gowans, Richard Brookfield, and Jordan Pianazzola has an invert pole. Another one.
Another one, yes.
He's getting good at that. Snagging the invert pole is Jay Pianazzola. So there you have it. Dyson, Grosh, Willison, Lavis and Funslow, the top 5. Don't forget, Indycar still to come. As soon as the footy gets underway tonight, we will go around the grounds. Of course, we've got the AFL from the West Coast. Fremantle in action. They're up against the Western Bulldogs. First bounce at 8:10. These cars are cool, says Betty Pedersen. Better than the Porsche? Actually, no, probably don't answer that. I've probably just poked the bear there. We know that Betty's not a huge fan of the current spec Porsche Cup car. Oh, dear. Right, we're getting ready to rock and roll. This is a 25-minute feature, folks. No 2-minute turnaround for warm-up for these guys. They are just lining up and getting straight back into it. They'll be lining up on the run down towards the chicane at the end of the back straight. The NRL tonight, I'm a bit hesitant about how the Storm are going to go against the Bulldogs. They wouldn't be able to beat Cessnock at the moment, Melbourne. The Dolphins, however, with a minute and a half to go, are leading the Dragons 28-22. We'll have the full-time score for you once that arrives. Jordan Pianazzola, Richard Brookfield, Doug Gowans, Alex DeZikas, Thomas Sinner, and Adam Funslow with Adam Lavis, Adam Willison. Then Brendan Grosh and Andrew Dyson make up the top 10 on this grid. 11:57 local server time. 3 km/h winds in a tending northeasterly direction. 29 degrees the ambient. 44 on track. 49% humidity. Cloudy conditions, but thankfully dry. Let's get ready to rock and roll. Outside the top 10 for us, we have, looking down through the field, Martin Davis and Darren Lobb from 6. Josh Suno and Rodney Gollan from 7. Thorn Weggett is, for some reason, registering there in position number 15, despite being in race control for me anyway on my SDK timing screen. Not sure what that's all about. So Rodney Gollan and Nathan Michael and Greg Heady, Joel Hansen, Brian Bullock, Cameron Dakin and Jason Douglas will make up this field. Cycling continues from the Commonwealth Games as well, so the velodrome in full swing tonight as well. So we'll try and keep you updated with all the above as this Friday night unfolds. Let's go to work. This should be fun. Invert Racing from Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta. Race 6 of the season in the GT1 Civil War on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Great start. Jordan Pianazzola to lead them up the hill for the first time. Everybody manages to avoid incident through the first corner at least. Hold your breath as they make their way through the zigzag crisscross sweeping S-bend section of this circuit. On the opening lap, Joel Hansen, the first one to bite the dust. And Rodney Gollan went with him. There they are, struggling at the back. And Gollan further back behind them, actually. He'll come into the top of shot now. There he is. So they've had a run in. Brian Bullock's got by Martin Davis, and everybody else is safely away. Funslow up 2 spots. Dyson only up 1 so far. Darren Lobb up 2 spots. Lobb and Funslow, of course, trying to redeem what might have been in race 1. And they're going to have to stop Dyson in the process at some point. For Funslow, track position is key here, Joe. He's a second and a half off the leaders at the moment, but more importantly, he's ahead of the championship leader.
Yeah, he is, and I'll tell you what, Richard Brookfield, he was the Larry Perkins of the club in the last one. He had his elbows out, very difficult to pass, so he managed to keep Darren Lobb behind him. He's sitting back in 10th, so yeah, he actually must have dropped back another one. He finished 12th, I think, in that last one he must have done. But Darren's up 3 positions now in the 9th. Dyso's only up 2. He's in 8th at the moment. But, hey, look, 25-minute race. He's got a long time to get the job done. And, yeah, I don't think you want to rush it around a place like this. Like with the 3D curves that we got now, and it's quite, you know, it can be quite a vicious track. It'll bite you back for making any mistakes. So he'll, is he going to get a move? No, he just grabbed a bit too much grass there to make a move on Mav. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how Dyso goes. But we all know how quick Pianazzola and Brookfield and Tazikas and Funslow, like your top 4, 5, let's be honest, the top 8 guys here are all very fast. So I don't know if he'll get to the top step, but we'll see how we go. Evening, Sharpie.
Yes, Dale Sharp in the house.
Teammate of mine?
Teammate of ours, actually, because he's been trying his hand in the commentary box this term. He's been doing well. And on the committee and Aussie races as well. So very much an integral member of the club. Evening, Sharpie. Speaking of your teammates, look at Dyson down to the inside of Adam Lavis. Full stuff, and Lavis is getting gobbled up here because Darren Lobb's down his inside now as well. To turn one they go.
Oh.
Lavis hung out to dry. He was nearly in the weeds.
And Grosh is going to have a go too.
Grosh to have a piece of it as well.
Oh, Mav!
There goes Lavis into the grass. I think he just kept it off the wall. Adam Lavis drops down to 7/8. Can you believe that? Oh, it was forceful stuff. Did he get unsettled here with Brendan Grosh at the top of the hill? No, just pinched the brake.
Oh, jeepers.
Nathan Michael, I think that was.
Oh, Mav will be filthy on that one.
Behind him. Yeah, and rightly so.
Oh, in the background, who was that?
I think he knew all that was coming, Jason Douglas. So I think Lavis knew the onslaught was coming. Like he knew that Darren Lobb and Andrew Dyson and Brendan Grosh were all starting behind him, so he expected that. But it's tricked him up nonetheless. Dyson down the inside. That'll be for position number 6. He had to get by Adam Willis and his teammate. He's done that. Sinner's got by Funslow. Who is Jay Zuno? Never seen him on track before. Good to see him behind the wheel. Yeah, no. Nickname H. Holt in these parts at one point last term because he just disappeared off the face of the planet. And I told him that personally. I said, I was about to start referring to you as Harold Holt. I hadn't heard from him, I hadn't seen him, but all of a sudden, can't get rid of the bloke of late. He's been everywhere. And it's good to have him around on a more regular basis as well. So, Andrew Dyson, fastest lap of the race, 1 minute 16.663. That's unfortunate for Jace Douglas, though. As we see, hang on, there's a bit of argy-bargy going on here. Richard Brookfield's been going up. Funslow's gone around his outside. Next target for Funslow is Thomas Sinner. Dyson's now on the back of Richard Brookfield, and we'll be having a right real look at him when they get down to the chicane at the end of the back straight. He'll be right on board with Funslow, who'll be keen to get by Sinner as quickly as possible because Pianazzola and Tzidakis are taking off. They're checking out. 10-second penalty for Jace Douglas for racing room in contact Joel and Hansen lap 1. So that adds insult to injury for him on the back of his incident a little bit later on. That was a beautiful bit of synchronised passing there. Dyson going through on the inside of Brookfield and Funslow on the inside of Sinner. And many happy returns to David Kirby tuning in this evening from North Queensland, who celebrated the milestone birthday yesterday. Another lap around the sun for him. Good on you, mate. Must have spent a day or a few getting the cobwebs off the rig. I would imagine so. That's in relation to Zuno. That's a very good bit of shade being thrown by Sean Benici from Alaska.
Poor Josh. Everyone was hassling him last season for not racing. Now he's raced and everyone's throwing shade at him again.
Who is this bloke? Sorry, have we met before?
He can't win.
No, not at all. Would you expect it to be any other way, though? No, not at all.
The inverted brackets gentleman club steps up to the plate when needed.
Absolutely, 100%.
I'm going to say, I had a bit of a prediction earlier on that Dyso might find it hard to get to the front. I'm going to retract that statement. I reckon he might just about do it tonight. The guy's on fire. Here he goes again. There's another position on Tom Sinner.
Down the inside. That'll be for 4th. And at the same time, look at Darren Lobb on the inside of Richard Brookfield. So again, 2 instances of overtaking. Same corner, different battle pack as everybody continues their charge towards the front. No further action. Net code Jason Douglas, and this was Cameron Dakin. Oh dear. Oh dear. That's unlucky. So he did exactly what Jason Douglas did earlier. And we know that Douglas is wearing a bit of an invoice for the incident on lap 1. So at the moment, 10 seconds is going to drop him down behind Joel and Hansen, but ahead of Cameron Dakin. That is it. Don't forget, there is, as part of the requirement of this race, ladies and gentlemen, a compulsory splash and dash pit stop. So you will see that will firmly be in the window for that right now. Cameron Dakin onto pit road, the first of the stops. And Jordan Pianazzola controlling this nicely, but for how long? Alex Tzidakis is only, right off Dyson at your own peril, says Dale Sharp. I agree with that. Pianazzola was only half a second up on Tzidakis, who's got 1.6 on Funslow, but watch Funslow. He's about to get gobbled up by, guess who? Andrew Dyson to the inside. And to the top 3. Up 7 spots already, ladies and gentlemen. Race win number 5 of the campaign is well and truly up for grabs. It's paying about $1.01 at the moment, Joe.
Yeah,
in comes Brendan Grosh.
He's certainly got these cars by the scruff of the neck, hasn't he? He just, I mean, it took the might of one Jay Merritt last week to knock him off the top step of the podium. We all know what sort of a tough character is Johnny. Nicest guy in the club, but he's brutal on track. Like, yeah.
Different personality completely, yeah.
He's like that guy, pull the helmet on and the demon eyes come on as soon as he pulls on the helmet. But, he just, like I say, one of the nicest blokes if you get to have a chat with him. But, Dyso, he just hasn't put a foot wrong all season. I think he might have had a bit of contact last week or the week before. Last week he did.
Yeah, he had an off-track skirmish. He copped the 10-second invoice, and he still finished second.
And he still finished second by gapping him.
It was unbelievable. So, yes, he had the moment last week, and remember that it was a compounded sort of process that unfolded there. That's Darren Lobb, I want to say, going through on the inside of Thomas Sinner. Yes, it is. Through he goes. Pianazzola's just lost the lead to Alex Tzickas. We might stay with this for a moment. So Pianazzola's lost the lead. Tzickas goes through. Tzickas has been really good in the Formula 3.5 so far this season, but that was too defective for lap 8, boys. Pianazzola on the outside and then into the grass. You have to see that one coming. He'll plummet down the order. Dyson up in a second. Fonzo to third. Lobb to fourth. And all of a sudden, the margin that Tzickas and Pianazzola enjoyed on the rest of the pack has evaporated. Dyson's only a quarter of a second away. So Dyson's about to lead this thing. Fonzo will want a piece of that as well. For the second time tonight, it's all gone down the drain on the main straight. 2 battles, and it's ended in tears for at least one of the protagonists. Pianazzola rejoins in 7th. It'll be interesting to get his take on that a little bit later on. Back straight we go again. Andrew Dyson 2nd. Let's ride with him here as he sets up the move on Alex Tzickas.
I'm glad I retracted that statement.
Yeah, absolutely. Down the outside. No, Tzickas is going to defend. He's going to make life difficult. Tzickas has been really impressive this term in the Formula 3.5, and also in the supercars. We've regularly seen him popping up there, regularly banking results, but he's branched out and trying other things, and it's really promising to see. He's having a whirl of a time of it, but right now he's under relentless pressure here from Dyson to the outside. He'll be aware of what unfolded here last time round for Pianazzola. He avoids incident on that occasion. Through they go. Funzlo to pit lane. He got out of the way. Jason Douglas back on pit road, has been for about a minute now. Zuno, Dakin, John Hanson, Greg Heaney. They've got lap traffic to contend with. Darren Lobb wants a piece of this as well. Down the hill. Whoa!
And the grass for Lobb.
In the grass. Zuno goes a lap down. Dyson to the inside. That is a brilliantly executed manoeuvre. That was slick, polished stuff from him to get by Tzickas to set up the run down the back straight. Darren Lobb's going to push him along. They want a piece of this. Side by side. Let's go drag racing on lap 9, boys. Will Lobb make it 3 wide, or would that be asking for trouble? Here we go to the bottom of the hill. Last of the late breakers. Dyson goes through. Tzickas hangs tough, but the door's slightly ajar. Watch Lobb with the up and under. Oh, he got balked a little bit on the exit, but he'll get the run over the hill, I think. No. Tzickas got across to cover that off because Lobb got balked mid-corner. Down the main straight, Lobb still trying to find a way through, knowing full well he has to get by urgently. Does so. Bang! Tzickas in the grass. I'm not sure there was any hip and shoulder there, but it was forceful from Lobb. He knew that the pressure was on. The clock was ticking. He had to get through if he had any hope of staying in contact with Andrew Dyson. Let's have a look at this on the Disruptive Labs replay tracker.
Yeah, so he's got up the inside clean. Look, I don't think that Lobb's got anything to answer there. He held his line, and I think, just Alex just never quite left enough room.
Have we got a better angle of that?
We certainly can have.
Only because it looked as though we were panning away from the action. Josh Zuno with a black flag. That's why he's in all sorts of trouble at the moment, and he's parked up with a penalty to serve. Jason Douglas also showing a lap down. Let's have a look at this on board with Lob. This is a much better angle. Down the inside to one, down the inside to one. There's a gap there every day of the week. Yeah. Tzidikis has just been spooked, I think.
Yeah, I think Tzidikis, he's turned in. I'll go back, have another quick look at that one. We'll find it again. Where is it?
Like net code from the far, says Sean Benici, who is actually lining things up in race control at the moment. He's just sitting there patiently waiting to have a chat with someone in the green room. 5-second penalty, Alex Tzidikis, for the move on Jordan Pianazzola the previous lap. Ooh.
Yeah, I think Alex just turned in a little bit too aggressively while Darren was making the pass. I don't think there was any intent on either party. Just a racing incident, I think.
I think you're right, and I think we're happy to stay with that one for the moment. Let's go back and remind everybody, because I was just remembering this as we were watching him charge through the field. Remember the Consultina effect. He was a bit filthy on himself last week, Daiso, because, and he verified this with us in the post-race show, he had an internet dropout as he was getting ready to line up for race one. For 40 minutes. It was only one race last week. So that resulted in him having to start from the back of the field. Those South African pings will get you from New Zealand. I like it. Oh, speaking of net code.
Wow.
What's up for Richard Brookfield? He's in the gravel now. Tzidikis is on pit road. Oh, hell has broken loose at Michelin Raceway, Road Atlanta.
That's so. This was what we were talking about at the top of the show, is the net code. Ridiculous. Oh, there's no way that that should have ended up in death for Brookfield. No way.
And they've just labelled the incident between Wob and Tzidikis' net code as well, Joe.
Yeah.
So, again, we were looking at it, trying to find a definitive moment that unsettled Tzidikis. It's been deep net code.
Look at the gap.
You could park a semi in the middle of that gap. I know I'm slightly exaggerating, maybe a couple of push bikes, but still, there was a gap there.
There definitely was. Look, there was, in real world, 2.5 foot gap between them, and boof, way you go. Like, it's, iRacing, you're on notice. Get your ducks in a row, please. That's terrible. I feel terrible for Brookfield. He didn't do anything wrong, but neither did Dougie. Doug did nothing wrong either, so.
The old 5H1T, I think that's what they need to get together, Joe.
Yeah, I was just trying to be very Friday kid o'clock friendly.
Dyson, Lobb, Sinner, Pianazzola and Willison. There'll be people there trying to crack the code. They'll be like, where's the 5 come from?
Yeah.
Andrew Dyson and Darren Lobb, the top two at the moment. 2 seconds the margin at the front of the field. We're on lap 13 now. We're into the 16th minute of play. We're good for probably 19 laps here, ladies and gentlemen. And that includes the transit of the lane, which is still to come for the top 8, as well as Rodney Golan after that. This field is really spread out now, Joe. Golan yet to stop, so too. No, he's the only one left yet to stop. Zuno showing 2 laps down, and limping into pit lane there is Golan now. So it's only the top 8 yet to stop, mate. Dyson, Lobb, Sinner, Pianazzola, Willison, and Gowan's Michael Lavis. So, yes, to finish the point before anything else happens, Dyson, unfortunately, by his own admission, because of what happened there, he last week, what had happened was he had the... he didn't have the Ethernet cable plugged into the computer, and as he was trying to reset that up, instead of running off the Wi-Fi, which was lagging on him, it just booted him. It punted him left of field, exit stage left, and then he had to restart from pit lane and join the race after the fact. We enjoyed watching the charge through the field, but that was fraught with danger. He ended up making contact up at the final corner, wore the 10-second invoice that came with that, still drove beautifully back through the field, and if it wasn't for Adam Funslow having a moment on the run to the final corner himself of the final lap, it would have been third for Dyson, but instead Fanslow gifted him second. Here's Adam Lavis to pit lane now. Just the top 7 left to stop. Brendan Grosh, the best place of anyone to have stopped so far. We're 7.5 minutes from home. We're only just getting started on this Friday night, ladies and gentlemen. The Indycars from the beach still to come.
Oh, God, I'm looking forward to that one. Laura, I'll put my hand up and say probably Long Beach is in my top 3 of tracks on the service. Obviously, Bathurst is up there, and the other one is Detroit Grand Prix Belle Isle. Probably my 3 favourite circuits on the service, bar none.
There are some common recurring themes there too, Trucker.
Oh, road courses. Oh, here they'll come. Bob.
The critical lap is now, except for Dyson. He's gone on for lap 15. Everybody else has gone in.
Oh, I have no doubt he's probably, making a coffee and cooking toast while he's doing it out front as well. Dougie Gowans, Nathan Michael's on his way into the pits. Here's Daiso. If he doesn't come to the pits this time, he so what are we at the 18, nearly at the 19-minute mark, so 6 minutes to go. And in case anybody was wondering, yes, there is a compulsory pit stop in this race. Whether or not they've got enough fuel to make it to the end is inconsequential. They have to pit.
Yes. Correct.
And starting from pit lane
race
doesn't count.
Correct. And Jason Douglas has been there for 1.5 minutes so far. Off goes Cameron Dakin again, but he's got back going. And Brendan Grosh there in 3rd spot at the moment, leading the charge back towards the front of the field. But this is the problem, isn't it? This is what we always fear with GT1 racing. Andrew Dyson coming in to cleanse the field this time through. So it took to the end of lap 15, folks. But we're good now for probably another 4 laps from here to get us to the checkered flag. And certainly Darren Lobb will be the relative of that as he makes his way around. I don't see. Oh, let's have a look. Up over the crest and down. What have we got? We got 5 minutes and 5 seconds as Lobb comes around the final corner. He's across the start-finish line with 5 on the clock. We're racing in the 117s, 116s at the moment. Dyson's just come back out with a 2.6 second advantage, and he's up over the hill. So, it's done.
About 2 seconds.
So we just need to go through the motions now and bring it home. But my thinking is, if he maintains that 116 pace, yes, there's no conceivable way. I'm trying to find a way in which we can get to 20 laps, Joe, but I just don't think numerically it's possible at the moment. I'll certainly get a better idea once Daiso comes across the line this time through. He's my relative in terms of the time, because he is the clock is with him. He is the clock essentially. He will be the reason we either don't go to 20 laps or the reason that we do. And the reason I say that for everybody at home, 1 minute 15 and 2 is, so 1 minute 15 was what I was basing everything on. 1 minute 15 and 2 is 2:30, 2:30 is 5. 5 is a 25, 5 times 4 is 20. But because we've had the carryover, we haven't been doing minutes 15s. We've had the transit time. I think that's going to put a line through it. There it is, 1 minute 38 that time through. So again, that's hard to compare because that was the pit lane transit lap. Darren Lobb, however, did a 1:17.5. So the pace has gone out of the cars and the racetrack and the tyres. And with 3.5 to go, there's a hair's breadth in it, but I think it goes in favour of Barney and 19 laps. So white flag flies at the end of lap 18. We're on lap 17 now. And Jason Douglas is still stranded on pit road. Everybody else still running and looking good to be classified. Josh Juneau sitting 2.5 laps down. But as long as he finishes lap 15, which is his next one. Oh, no, he's back into pit lane now, so that's not looking any good for him. But he just needs to get to the end of lap 15 of a 19-lap race to be classified on 75%. He still has a black flag sitting next to his name. So the former El Presidente is having real hard time of getting his head around the rule book of iRacing at the moment, unfortunately, which is a rule book he's had to enforce a fair bit over the course of time too. So there's a bit of irony in that, let's be honest.
Ryan Bullock's given the current president a bit of a hurry up here.
Yes, we'll be catching up with current President G. Heaney a little bit later on. And this is the battle for 12th. Bullock looking for 12th. Heaney trying to hold on to it. Down the hill we go. AFL underway, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Friday night footy from the west. Bullock to the inside. No, couldn't make the move. White flag in the air. Next time by for Andrew Dyson. He's already on lap 18. These guys are about to complete lap number.
Big wiggle for Heaney.
17 right now. Hang on. Have you just noticed what I've noticed?
Oh, I think I did.
Well,
sorry.
this is Andrew Dyson.
Sorry about the voice, people.
You're right. Andrew Dyson's had a moment, right? So that's turn one. He's come back onto the track with a slowdown to serve. And the margin's now only 0.8 of a second to Darren Lobb. The second thing I've only just noticed is as this field has cleansed, there have been two issues. One for Alex Tzickas because the 24.37 second pit stop just doesn't add up when everybody else has been in sub 10 second territory. But also, look at the name in 15th place. Stopped on lap 8. I didn't notice this at the time. Apologies. It was an oversight on my part.
Speeding penalty in pits.
48.15 seconds, and that rubs him out of contention for the second time tonight. So first instance, running into Darren Lobb. No fun there. And then second instance, all on his lonesome, as Andrew Dyson does see the white flag at the start of lap 19. Thank Christ the mathematics worked in my favour on that occasion. I was a little bit worried for a moment.
Oh, Dyso!
He's doing his best to throw it away, isn't he?
He definitely is. He's making me nervous.
He's got the fastest lap of the race, Joe. He doesn't need to run the gauntlet. He's got the fastest lap of the race by 0.4 of a second. The bloke is the only one in the 16s on the circuit. There's no need to throw caution to the wind here. It's 2.56 the margin, and Darren Lobb will have to settle for second. But that's a nice return to form for Lobby after, obviously, having the incident in race one.
If anyone,
back straight, final time.
He's trying to do a Jet Lawrence. What Jet Lawrence does to Hayden Deegan in every race, he's trying to do to Darren Lobb. For those guys that have been following the Lawrence boys in America in the motocross,
yes,
the great white hope that is young Deeks had 13 seconds put on him in 2 laps last weekend. And he's the best that America's got at the moment. So go the Aussie boys.
And he, right there on screen right now, his name is Andrew Dyson from DPR Racing. He's the best we've got at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, for not just the GT1 Civil War Series, but just about whenever he's turning up to have a steer at the moment. He loves it when he turns up and has a run in the BMWs. He loves it when he turns up and has a run in the Porsches. He tears it to shreds on a Friday night in GT1. He doesn't think too much of the supercar, but he's the dominant force of the GT1 Civil War at the moment. He sweeps the second sprint round of the season just as he did the first. It's his 5th win of the campaign. He is looking good for championship supremacy. Sean Benici reckons his dinner's getting cold. That's a reference back to when we spoke to him last week, of course. Brian Bullock has a black flag. Brian Bullock has a black flag. Brian Bullock's going to get a post-race penalty. Brian Bullock's not going to be 14th, Joe. He's going to drop down the order. And when did that happen? More to the point. Did he trip up the incident point limit on the final lap? Wowee. Adam
must have done it on the
15th across the line, but I reckon he's going to move up the order here.
So Brian Bullock, can't see any incidents for him on the last lap. So
no.
Interesting one.
There was definitely a black flag next to his name. We'll have a look at the race results when they come up on your screen. Everybody's crossed the control line. We're good. Bullock's going to drop down to 17th. What the hell?
Last car on the lead lap.
He came across the line in 14th, which was 33 seconds. He's been penalised 46 seconds. It's 1 minute 19, and he is done. Wowee. Bullock loses out on the final lap. Incident point limit. Greg Heaney, 12th. Martin Davis, Adam Funslow. Pit limiter failed me, says Adam Funslow. That's fair. We've seen that happen a couple of times already this season. Dyson, Lobb, Grosh, Pianazzola, Sinner, then Willison, Brookfield, Gowans, Nathan Michael, and Alex Tzickas, the top 10. So there was a fair bit in all of that. Tzickas copped the penalty for the invoice that he gave Jordan Pianazzola with the turn 1 hip and shoulder. There was obviously the contact on the inside that ruined Jason Douglas earlier in the night. There was the incident between Darren Lobb and Alex Tzikis at turn 1, which was ruled net code. There was obviously an enormous amount of net code at the end of the back straight. You saw that live. A night full of drama as always, Trucker.
Yeah, certainly was. Look, I got to admit, I'm a little bit jealous, actually. I would have loved to have been out there racing these cars at this venue. But, look, great racing by the guys. And who the hell am I? Like, I doubted Dyso there early on. What an idiot. Yeah. You'd think I would have learned by now.
Well, yeah, true. I like Adam Funslow's comment. He's just got to collect the toys off the floor because he chucked them out of the cot. He's just got to put them back in the pram ready for a little bit for his next racing venture, for when he next needs to spit the dummy. I like it. How many baby references can we get in there? I must say, expensive caper, that bringing a kid into the world, isn't it? I mean, I had my mum on the phone to me this afternoon because I was asking her just a general question. I said, how long do you normally get out of your watch battery? Because mine's just gone flat today after I worked it out to be nearly 3.5 years, so not a bad run. But the inconvenience of having to find the jeweler in town to get it fixed, to get it sorted, to get it ready for when I next need to wear it, which is when I next go out of the house, right? I'm still one of those old school people that I like having the watch on the wrist. Anyway, she was like, "Oh, good timing. Your ears must have been burning. We're just talking about you. We're out doing your baby, your shopping with your sister for Bub." And I was like, "Oh, okay. So you're going to have fun with my money again, are you?" Yep. No worries. Apparently, they've saved me $150 somehow by spending $250. Well, they've. I didn't have to buy the bassinet because Dad was able to get a second-hand hand-me-down sort of already used cot, which was good. But Mum's brought a few other things to help with preparedness for Bub's arrival mid-October. So if you see me disappear for a couple of days in and around that, ladies and gentlemen, my youngest sister, I've got 2 young ones, one of whom has already had her 2 kids. She's done. The second one, the baby of the family, she's about to have her first bub. If I disappear for a couple of days mid-October, you'll know why, because that's when Bub's due. Got another little nephew coming into the world. But yeah, they were going baby shopping today, and it was the baby video monitor. It was a couple of other things, and I was like, $250 for all of that? Jesus. And it was down $150 on retail, so it's saving a 37.5%. Not worried about that in the slightest, but I was just like, because I just thought, I'll put my hand up, say, look, feel free to have me contribute to the cause, but it's best off if you get Mum to take my money and do it for me, because she'll know what you need, and et cetera, et cetera. Yep. So Mum has great fun doing that, but not as much fun Dad enjoys spending my money more than Mum does. For some reason. He reckons the grog tastes better when I pay for it too. Andrew Dyson's here. We'll hear from him in a moment. Joe, I think we should spin the wheel, don't you?
I think we should spin the wheel. Let me just get geared up.
This is to determine MtnMen tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen. The car of choice. We know the venue, we know the format, we know the time. The good old Mount Panorama Circuit in Bathurst. Although, are we still sticking to 8:10 to try and help Adam Lavis not have an internet crash again?
I'll have to have a chat with Adam later on and see whether or not the world revolves around him still. Here we go.
You've got the Euronose car, the MX-5, the Lotus, the Formula Ford, and the Radical SR8, and that's the car of choice for tomorrow night for you, ladies and gentlemen. So you had the Euronose car there as an option, the MX-5 Cup car, the Lotus 79, and the GSRC Formula Ford 1600, but we've landed on the Radical SR8, and that goes all right too.
I'll tell you what. Of any of the cars that we ever put up there that always gets big numbers, it's this one. And it's such a blast around the mountain. You can almost go too wide the whole way around with that car. Like, it's awesome fun. So, yeah, get amongst the people tomorrow night. It'll either be 8 o'clock or 8:10, depending on what Mav needs.
Yeah, that's exactly right. If 8 past 8 still seems to be the bingo number, I can't believe you picked that. Nailed it last week. And if that seems to be the case, then you might even have to make it 1/4 past, but we'll be right. We'll get there. And then, of course, we have 32 laps of that to look forward to. 8 p.m. or 10 past 8 Eastern Standard Time. You'll see it when the server goes up, ladies and gentlemen. You'll be able to do your own mathematics from there. I'm enjoying a weekend off, so there'll be no need to lean upon my mathematical services for that one. Let's hear from the dominant force of this series so far. Standing by, of course, for Indycar in about 23 minutes' time, ladies and gentlemen. The GSRC Disruptive Labs Road to Indy series from Long Beach. But let's talk tin tops firstly. Let's talk to Andrew Dyson. Dominant force in this series, mate. John Merritt might have upset the winning run last week, but you restored order this week in a big way. No into their shoes this time round. Faultless performance. 9 positions gained pretty quickly, actually. Let's be perfectly honest, in that second race. To do the double again, just as you did a fortnight ago, wins 4 and 5 of the season. I'm not sure they can catch it at this point.
Well, there was a bit going on in that second race, wasn't there? There was all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Hard to keep up. It all happened pretty quickly. It was a bit of a blur, but anyway, yeah, it was good fun. Nearly got Daz back in the race there at the last lap, but he also had a bit of fuel to worry about. But lucky for him, he brought it home second, and then we had Gotchi in third too, so that was cool.
Great to see Darren Lobb back in some sort of form here as well, mate. We didn't see him last week. We know he's a contender on his day. He had a moment in race 1. Adam Funslow's had a couple of moments tonight. Got caught up in an incident with Lobby in race 1. Obviously has got caught out by the pit speed limiter in race 2. From your standpoint, though, couldn't have gone much better. Let's be honest. I was very impressed with the move that eventually got you to clear air on the race lead. Alex Tzikis wasn't willing to budge, but you found a way through just as you entered the back straight there, mate. That was real aggressive stuff. But we said in the opener tonight to the beginning of the call that you were going to have to be, because this is one of those sorts of circuits where everybody stays really tightly bunched up. You have to work hard for your overtakes. Just how difficult did you find that task?
Well, to be honest, man, the car actually has so much draft down the back stretch here that it moves on just about every lap down the end of the straight there. And if you have a good run and the car in front has not such a good run out of that 90-degree corner onto the backstretch, you'd probably pass them before you get down to the chicane. So, and to go along with that, on the other side of the circuit in the twisty bits, there wasn't too much push in the dirty air. So, yeah, actually, it wasn't too bad passing, but that was a bit of a nonsense move on Alex into that corner down there. Like I just said, I could have just passed, or tried to pass, or at least get side by side down the straight and have a bit of a race through the chicane or something. But just thought I'd do something silly for a bit of fun.
Well, I wasn't going to label it silly. I was more thinking, well, he knows the pressure's on. He wants to get clear of the guys that are chasing him, and that then pulled the trigger for Darren Lobb. He knew he needed to make hay while the sun shone as well, because he wanted to try and stay in somewhat close proximity to you. So he's then all of a sudden upped the intensity, and poor old Alex was a sitting duck in all of that. Pit strategy seemed pretty good, mate. Just talk us through that moment on the last lap, though, because that was really the only blip in the road tonight.
I went into turn 1, and like I keep saying, these cars get faster and faster as the fuel comes out. So I went into turn 1, and as I got through the apex, or as I got to the apex, I thought, yeah, I'm all good here. Sweet, picked up the throttle, and I looked down at my dash, and the numbers were going up, or going down, I should say, in the green. I'm like, yeah, green, good as. And by the time I looked back up, I was on the green, so it wasn't real good.
Talk to me about tyre wear, because I mean at the start of that final lap there, I said to Joe in the call, when you've had that moment, I was like, hang on, you've got the fastest lap, you're the only car on the 16, surely you weren't going for a purple box lap on the last lap.
Yeah, I was, and so I arrived at the top of the hill there, and there was no front end. And I even mentioned to the boys at the time, I said, gee, this thing has no front tyre left. So yeah, it wasn't real good, but I was trying to go for it, just to have a bit of fun, I suppose. And
what sort of track temps were you seeing tonight? Because I did a practice run today, and I got probably the highest track temp I've ever seen of was nearly 58 degrees. So what was the in-race track that you guys were dealing with tonight?
So I reckon Willow might have said, it's Adam Willison, he might have said that we had 50-ish in practice. And I think when we started quali, or it might have been the first race, we had 44 degrees track, and I reckon by the end there it was 46. That's what my dash says anyway. So
That's not so bad.
I don't know how accurate it is, but it's still pretty hot. But it wasn't like, wow, this is hot, this is undrivable sort of deal. These cars are actually pretty good. Like, they've got so much aero on them. They're really good, and they've actually got so much aero everywhere else around the track that by the time you get to that last corner before the back stretch, that 90-degree right-hander, there's no grip because there's like hardly any mechanical grip, and it's all aero. So you almost go in there and sail off the road every lap. You really got to coax yourself into backing up the braking bit there, otherwise you're going to fly off. But, yeah.
You mentioned Alan Willison. Him and Brendan Grosh, they had a good little ding-dong there in race 1. At one point, Brendan was in front, then Adam. Strong result for the team across the board tonight.
I think I lost count of the amount of times they said, "Oh, you got me here, man," and then the other guy would go, "Oh, you got me here, man." Then
And
the
all
guy said, "No, you got
down
me back."
to the circumstances you just mentioned with regards to the draft on the back straight, or not?
Yeah, pretty much. I reckon so. Yeah, and then there might have been like just other little things going on as well, but yeah, maybe they were all worried about netcode, like we're seeing on screen there. They didn't want to race side by side.
What's your take on that at the moment? Because I mean, we've already heard from Trucker about this. Netcode seems to be a bigger issue than it has been in previous seasons. It's been particularly prominent this term so far, and we're only 4 weeks old. It means we're in for another very long 6 weeks if we're going to have to contend with netcode every step of the way.
Yeah, it's a weird one. So I think for me last week it was probably a one-off. I mean, I know why it happened, and it was just my mistake. And I think even when I was in the race, even though I thought I'd switched over to Ethernet, I think I was still racing on Wi-Fi. So I think I stuffed myself up there and stuffed a few people up in return, which wasn't real great. But I actually race in a NASCAR league on Saturday mornings and Sunday mornings with a bunch of American dudes, and we race on USA servers, and I never have any sort of netcode issues, and we're racing really close side by side. And although in that style of racing, the closing speed, so side by side closing speeds isn't really high, so the prediction isn't really bad. You still can get some netcode stuff from time to time, but 99% of the time, it's actually really, really good. So I don't know why we're getting it on our servers, and poor old Daz. I think everyone thinks he lives over in Johannesburg, when in actual fact he's living, and we've been joking about this for a couple of weeks, but he's actually living in New Zealand, so his internet's not that bad compared to everyone else in the league. Like, it shouldn't be as bad as anyone who's in Western Australia even. But I don't know why he's copping it.
Well, that's interesting, isn't it? Because you've just shone some light on something we weren't 100% aware of. I mean, obviously, we said the South African flag there, and we did have someone, I think it was Sean Benici, chime into the comments and have a little bit of a dig at the South African / New Zealand internet. And it's really funny because when you think about rugby union and you think about the Wallabies, you think their two biggest opponents. Well, you've got a South African in New Zealand, and there are the two biggest opponents. I'm actually looking forward to their 4-test match series a little bit later on in the season, which viewers around Australia will be able to see on Stan Sport, of course, and those of you in New Zealand, you'll be able to watch it through Sky. The interesting thing out of all of this, Daiso, is that you've grabbed a win in all 4 rounds, in 3 of the 4 rounds so far. The second last week, even with the 10-second invoice hovering over your head. Your podium run is strong. Consistency is the key to nailing these championships. Just how early can you secure it? Because next week, Watkins Glen, I'm looking at that thinking it's 40 minutes. I believe it's on the bootleg configuration of the circuit, and that's right up your alley.
I mean, I don't know how. I'm not really worried about that sort of stuff. I'll just keep rolling up, and I enjoy driving the car, so I'll keep rolling up and having some races and seeing how we go. I think what's really good at the moment, and particularly when we get these reverse skid races, is because there's quite a few cars, there's some reasonably good competition, so it's not like you just go out there and blaze past everybody. You sort of got to race. So that's pretty good. Don't mind that. Watkins Glen's, is that what you said the next track was?
Yep.
I'm not a huge, massive fan of Watkins. I've done a fair few laps around there. I assume we're doing the boot version, so...
I would imagine so. I haven't seen anything to suggest otherwise.
The amount of times I've flown off the road down at the toe, I think they call it.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see if I can stay on the road. But
that off-camber right-hander up onto that little short back chute.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Oh,
that's a good one.
Love that corner.
Always gets you. And even with the paved runoff now, it's a bit tricky. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it, but we'll go out there and have a good old crack. I think there'll be lots of draft like we had at this track, so that'll keep everyone in it. He'd
probably go out there and win by 10 seconds like you did at Sebring, Trucker. It'll be terrific.
I don't like the track. I'm not very fast there. I'll just smoke everybody a little bit.
Yeah, straight out.
I'm still going to try. I can't deny that.
Straight out of the Brenton Hobson type playbook or the Matty Dench playbook. I love it. Let's just wrap this up so that Joe and I can have a couple of seconds to catch our breath here. I've got a couple of more questions to throw your way. I mean, obviously, Watkins Glen next week. We're looking forward to that, and that is 40 minutes. But tonight was interesting because it didn't take long for you to get up to fourth. Once you got to third, I was like, this will be interesting. You know, Tsitsikas and Pianazzola, they're about a second and a half up the road. Let's see how long it takes for Daiso to reel them in. All of a sudden, they're banging wheels at turn one. Pianazzola's in the grass, and all of a sudden, that advantage that they enjoyed evaporated in the blink of an eye. So, yes, your pace was brilliant tonight, but you were assisted a little bit along the way by some of the other niggle that was going on in your bid to get back to the front, weren't you?
Yep, yeah, it definitely was. I mean, I was surprised to see it because I think I even said the other night I tuned into the broadcast and I said these folks are going to need to participate in a bit of co-opetition if they wanted to catch the guy in first for that race, which was Johnny Merritt. But tonight, those guys need to have a bit of co-opetition together to stay. You know,
it's right on screen now. It's about to happen.
So yeah, this business. I mean, I get it. Like you're in front, you want to keep the lead and all the rest of it. Oh, that wasn't real good. I mean, that's a bit of incidental contact, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, it didn't help either of their causes at the end of the day.
Nah.
So
it did not.
Do it. I'm not complaining.
No.
Didn't think you
mentioned that. No, absolutely not. You mentioned the NASCAR, mate. What else is on the racing agenda between now and when we see you next?
It's off weekend, so it follows this league racing follows the real schedule for what is it? O'Reilly Auto Parts Series and the Cup Series.
A rarity to have an off weekend.
Yeah, it is actually. So there's not too many of them, but I don't mind it. That's good. So I'll do whatever I want to do for the weekend, I suppose. I did say the other week that I was going to tune into heaps of Olympic Games or Commonwealth
Games. Yes, yep.
Commonwealth Games, and I have not watched a single second, except one of my mates, Jimmy, just threw up a really cool clip of a bloke who we're not a real fan of. As all Aussies, we're not big fans of. I think his name's Richardson or something. Used to ride a bike for Australian. And
yes, the great Brit.
The dude through the big hip and shoulder.
Yeah, he copped it. He copped one, but
my God, that was disgusting.
We don't love to see it, but we don't love to see it, but we don't mind that he's not going to get a medal now.
Correct. Yeah. No, it does well. It bodes well for our medal count. There's no doubt about that. We're going very nice indeed on the medal table at the moment. We're tearing it to shreds. Joel Farley, NLS this weekend. So there you go. That might be an outlet for you to get some racing time despite the off weekend for the NASCAR.
Yeah, might tune in. We'll have a look, see what it's like.
Well done. Terrific performance, as always. DPR tearing it to shreds 4 weeks in to the campaign. Lobby exploring the grass there on replay as you blast down the outside. Really good stuff. Looking forward to seeing what you bring to the table next week, mate. Who would you like to thank?
All the boys are in chat. I'm sure they're listening and hanging, you know what, off me. So I'll individually thank all of them. That is Philip Worley for tuning in. Indy 500 champ, also known as James A. Glasspool. We've got Brandon Grotch in the chat having a listen along. Rampage Grotch, we like to call him. We've also got Benny Roberts. He's not part of the club, but he's a big lad over in DPR land. The professional, we like to call him. Who else we got? Wiki Lob, number 99, because apparently he has all the answers for everything. That's Darren Lob. And we've got Wilson Hog Cubico. That's a whole long story. I can't explain that one, but shout out to Adam Wilson for tuning in. And everyone else is DPR who's not there tonight. Cheers.
Now, I'm going to stray left of the topics of discussion for the moment. Daiso, thank you. Well done, mate. Congratulations. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Thank you, folks, and have a good call.
Well done, Daiso. And I also owe you an apology, Daiso. I said that you were going to struggle in this race to get to the front, and yeah, it took you like 8.5 minutes. So go, Daiso.
Man, I didn't expect it either. But like we saw, those guys were
neither did I.
So,
It's one thing for you to sell yourself short, Daiso. It's another for one of our own to write you off when we know there's too much evidence to suggest that we probably shouldn't be bloody well doing that. Very well done, mate. Congratulations. Appreciate it. Go well.
Thank you. See you.
Catch you.
Now, I just want to go. Our good mate Dale Sharp was in the comments section here earlier. And he's just recently posted on his Facebook, and I was just having a look, a scroll through whilst we're chatting to Daiso there. And he's mentioned about the debacle unfolding with regards to the boycott potentially of all the UEFA franchises and nations with regards to the next upcoming World Cups. So, hello to Thorn Wiggett, by the way. The World Cups, of course, the Women's World Cup next year in Brazil, the Men's next FIFA World Cup coming up in 2030. So, Sharpie's having a little rant about that, and I've done this as well because I put it up this morning saying, well, if you thought the politics in motorsport was right, here comes football saying, hold my beer, right? To add to your argument there, Sharpie, because he's just highlighted that not only have UEFA said they'll boycott, but also CONCACAF, which is the Americas, and a couple of other markets have come out and said, look, you know, we're going to stand with UEFA here, sort you know what out, FIFA, or we're out, and then good luck running a World Cup with no nations turning up. While the Australian football, the Asian Football Confederation now, of which Australia is part of, they have recently released a statement saying that they too stand in solidarity with UEFA and CONCACAF to protect the FIFA World Cup. This news coming out of Kuala Lumpur a few moments ago. That is a very ugly, messy situation that's unfolding at the moment, and I dare say there will be some mops and brooms coming to be delivered to the corridors of FIFA in the next short while, and they're going to have to see a couple of people out, exit stage left and right, and get everything back on track, because that sort of disharmony at the moment is not good for the game. But yes, just letting you know, Sharpie, and everybody else, that not only is it UEFA that have taken this stand and said, you know what, FIFA, take your proposed changes and jump. It's a couple of others as well. So the Football Confederation's pushing back against the establishment at the moment, and that's a story that we'll keep following. Let's go around the grounds. I told you, didn't I, Joe? The Storm couldn't beat Cessnock at the moment, and they're down 16-12 to the Bulldogs right now at Amy Park. The Bulldogs leading 16-12 Friday night NRL. Earlier, the Dolphins over the Dragons 28-22 at Wynn Stadium in Wollongong. Currently in the AFL, it is Fremantle 1-3-9 playing the Western Bulldogs 1-1-7. And we're getting through the latest morning of track action on the Velodrome at the Commonwealth Games, which you can watch on the screens of 7. And that's 7 Mate for those of you that have got the AFL on the main channel in your jurisdiction at the moment, which is Tasmania, Victoria, the Northern Territory, South Australia and Western Australia, of course. Friday night AFL featuring the Fremantle Dockers. And well done to the 7 Network in Perth, actually. They've gone against the grain of the other Channel 7s around the country in the fact that whenever West Coast or Fremantle are featured on a Thursday or Friday night of late with a bounce time of 6 local, they have been airing 7 news in a truncated 40-minute edition from the earlier time of 5:30. And it's been working a treat for them. Sport on the main channel instead of being punted to 7 Mate. Well done to 7 Perth. We'll take a quick break. We're coming back. Long Beach for the Indycars is our next stop. These are the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is Disruptive Live's Friday Night Motorsport. We're 4 from 4 for GT1. Andrew Dyson's 3 from 4. And he's tearing it to shreds as the season heads to Watkins Glen next week. Back-to-back rounds in the US. We're off to Long Beach on the other side for the Disruptive Labs Road to Indy series. And we're here with thanks to the great people at Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.tgsrci.com/graphics, and, of course, Disruptive Labs, who I mentioned a few moments ago. Stay with us. Joe and I back with you next to go. Indycar racing to finish off the month of July on the platforms of the GSRC. Good to have you company wherever you're tuning in, all around Australia or indeed the world. These are the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. This is the main course of Friday Night Motorsport, Night 5, Week 4, Term 3, 2026. This is the Disruptive Labs GSRC Road to Indy Series. This is coming to you from the Long Beach Street Circuit in California. So just as we were in Week 1, we're going street racing once more. The man to beat in the championship remains Ethan Morris, and it'll come as no surprise to anyone to learn that he's on pole position here as we get ready for 65 minutes of competition, or 48 laps, whichever comes first. We're on Shoreline Drive in Long Beach in California, over there on the west coast. Los Angeles, California. What a lovely part of the world. Now, let's have a look at the state of play here. We do it with thanks to Disruptive Labs. Waste Options, Trophy AI, merch.GSRC.inc, and Flash Graphics. The palm trees are waiting for me, by the way. Ethan Morris, 322, leads Tom Donoghue, 274. Remember, we had some uncertainty with regards to how the state of play was going to look after last week with some post-race controversy. Ethan Morris retained the win. He inherited it back after nearly losing it. Second is Tom Donoghue. Third is Martin Davis. Fourth is Adam Lavis. And then Joe De La Rosa rounds out the top 5. Greg Heaney, Luke Page, Joel Hansen, Alex Tzikis, and Stephen Bull make up the top 10. Have a look at how spaced out that top 10 is at the moment. 157 points, first through 10th right now. But yes, Ethan Morris doing what Andrew Dyson's doing up in GT1 land and saying, catch me if you can, ladies and gentlemen. And so far, they haven't been able to do so. 1,400 hours, so that's 2 o'clock in the afternoon local server time on the west coast. So that's a 17-hour time difference too. Here on the eastern seaboard of Australia at this time of the year anyway. And remember that when we have a look at the clock in the United States at the moment, most of the progressive and civilised parts of the USA are observing daylight savings. So daylight's not going to be an issue here, with a very nice hello to our dear friends in Queensland who just don't get it still. 11 kilometre an hour winds, southerly direction, 26 degrees the ambient, 58% humidity, 51 degrees. Dry conditions so far and clear. 3.14 kilometres this circuit around. It's a tricky one. It's technical. These guys will earn their keep tonight. There's no doubt about that. 21 cars lining up on the grid. Dan Yeaman at the very back of that grid. Good to see him back on the grid on a Friday night. Ethan Morris, Aidan Carl front row. Shortly Kaylee's dual result. Stephen Bull and Eric Fenson from the second row. Drew Collins and Luke Page from the third row. Tom Donoghue, Matt Schmidtke from the fourth row. Look at Schmitty up in the top 10. And Benny Pedersen's having a crack at the Indycar alongside Nathan Michael on row number 5. Now, I was interested as to why Benny was here early tonight. That's a nice little surprise packet. Leslie Reeves and Adam Lavis from row 6. Martin Davis, Joe De La Rosa from 7. Jordan Pianazola, Josh Zuno from 8. From 9, Tristan McLaren, Greg Heaney, and Joel Hansen and Edward Rollo from row 10. Correct, Thornweger. Well done. I'm glad somebody's keeping up and paying attention. Hope you've got your bingo cards ready, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what else I need to tick off for you. We'll do it as the night goes on. 65 minutes, 48 laps, round 4 of the season. Disruptive Labs, Road to Indy. The platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and Ethan Morris leads us to green. Let's go! The Grand Prix of Long Beach is underway. Morris and Kale straight clear on the run down towards turn 1. Fenson on the outside, on the inside, trying to get by Aidan Kale. Let's see who trips up through turn 1. Hopefully no one. It's too early in the piece for trouble. Oh, I spoke too soon. Schmitty and Pedersen. And Benny involved in his second early lap 1 incident in as many nights, and it is a car park down there. Wowee. Dan Yeaman compromised in all of that, but he's still up 4 spots already. Martin Davis, Joel and Hansen, Schmitty's going to be on the tow rope. Benny Pedersen is as well. 2 casualties already in a 21-car field. We have got an enormous amount of space between the front of the field and the rear now because of that incident. Dan Yeaman 17 seconds back on Ethan Morris, who has Aidan Carl for company in his shadows at the moment. Carl has since got back by Eric Fenson. Good to see a strong start for Stephen Bull as well. No yellow, Thornweger. You are right. We're racing on. That is all at the call of Liam Haycock. Remember, they don't necessarily opt for cautions based on incidents here. It's one competition caution about the 32, well, I'd say the 32-minute mark. About half race distance is where it usually comes in. But there is a randomised number drawn before the race gets underway, predetermined, which the trigger is pulled. It's just not, I think the old rules were not in the first 5 laps or 5 minutes and not in the last 10.
Oh, he got bumped too, Ben.
Yeah, he did. Park.
So that one's firmly going to be on Benny's shoulders, unfortunately.
Correct. Unfortunately. Not much we can do about that one. How good is this, though? Have a look at this. So, Bull has got past Fenson, but they've lost ground to Kale and Morris. Remember, as long as they're still in contention, as long as they've avoided incidents and stayed out of trouble. We had this problem last week, Joe. They weren't able to avoid incidents and drama and trouble on the first normals purpose-built circuit of the year at Barber Motorsport Park. We saw trouble aplenty there in the early laps, which rubbed a few people out of contention, and it meant we had some drivers doing 4-stop strategies and others running to the traditional 3. We had a couple even try to make 2 stops work, I think, in the end there. Stephen Bull might have been one of those. But we had varying strategies last week as a result of early carnage. We may have yet again this week Schmidtke, Hansen and Pedersen back out on the road. Pedersen back out after, the better part of 2 minutes on pit road. Joel and Hansen still sitting on pit lane after a minute. Matt Schmidtke back out there after the fast repair of 3.43 seconds. All those guys, 15-second penalty for Benny, not really a surprise, causing the incident with Matt Schmidtke. So that's a 15-second invoice to pay after the fact. To go back to the original point that I wanted to make before I digressed. Morris and Kale, yes, they're broken clear, Joe, and Bull's done the same to Eric Fenson, who's fallen back into the clutches of Collins and Page. But they just need to go through the motions here, stay out of trouble, remain where they are, track position relative to their competition, and then they can reset. When that safety car's deployed, reset, and then wind the wick up a little bit and have at it. That was Dan Yeaman going too deep down at the end of Shoreline Drive.
Aiden Kale, Ethan Morris. Aiden, put the move on him.
There you go.
That's a first for the season.
That's a rarity for us and for Ethan Morris as well, to see a car in front of him. He's not used to this. Changing of the guard. Maybe an upset for the apple cart here. Aiden Kale leads on the streets of Long Beach. To be fair, Kale was on the front row with Morris on the streets of St. Petersburg. Run into early trouble there. Didn't get a chance to go toe-to-toe with him for the balance of the night. Ran into trouble again last week. Is this the night in which we finally get to see these two have a hard, clean, race-long fight? Geez, I hope so. There's Josh Zuno just... Oh, no. That car is looking awfully sick. Awfully unwell. And he's in pit lane now as well. So Zuno and Schmidt, actually, he wasn't able to get into pit lane first attempt. He's in second time round, though, and that's a night that's gone from bad to worse for him.
We got Mav. So Nathan Michael's up 2 spots. Mav's up 3. Joe De La Rosa and Jordan Pianazzola's up 4 from when they started. Tristan McLaren and Greg Heaney are both up 4 positions. Ed Rollo and Dan Yeaman are up 5. And Dan Yeaman, he would have been up a hell of a lot further than that if it hadn't been for his excursion down the escape road a couple of laps ago. But Martin Davis looks like he's had a bit of a how's your mother? What's he done? Hang on. Oh, no.
Oh, the flick spin. Didn't have enough real estate in which to execute that. And as a result, the rear wing parts company with the car. And Davis drops down to position number 17. Movers and shakers so far, Joe. Plenty of that. Joe De La Rosa, Jordan Pianazola, Tristan McLaren, Greg Heaney, and Edward Rollo all up 4 spots. But Darren Yeoman, the biggest mover so far, up 6. And look at Aidan Kale streaking clear. But again, I go back to what I said. He can go like a scalded cat now, and Morris knows this because he's been here the last 3 weeks. Once that competition caution flies, you're brought back to the pack, whether you're in front or behind. Everything gets neutralised. Everything gets lined back up, tightly bunched again, and it's essentially a whole new ball game. So Morris, I think, settling in for the long game here. Let's see what Aidan Kale can do with what is now a 2-second advantage.
Morris is a second slower, right? So at this stage of the race, you can afford to turn it down, burn less fuel. Ooh, someone in the fence there. If Rollo might have been. No, it's green car. Anyway, you could turn it down, save a bit of fuel. So Ethan, whilst he can lose a second or a second half lap, he's just got to manage that gap to Steve Ball behind. But he can burn a lot less fuel, and he'll just jump him in the pit cycle at the behind the safety car anyway. So it could be very strategic, just like, nope, you go, you burn your tyres off, you do whatever you want to do, and I'll just sit back here and cruise. So, because we know the pace that Morris has had this season has been outstanding. So he's done to the Indy guys what Daiso's been doing to the GT1 field.
Absolutely, 100%. Let's be very mindful of this, though. Kale, once he finds clear air and once he hits his straps, once he gets his head around the machinery, we've seen what he can do to the field in Formula 3 as well. So even though Morris has been cleaning up this season, it hasn't been without misfortune falling upon a couple of other competitors around him. I think Aidan Kale's been caught up in an incident all 3 weeks so far. Certainly on the streets of St. Pete, certainly last week at Barber, and the week before, yes, he did get caught up in an incident. In fact, he copped the penalty for being the instigator of the incident, the Nashville Super Speedway as well. So it hasn't been a straightforward equation for Aidan Kale so far this season. Ethan Morris holds sway in second spot at the moment, but fast coming under pressure from this bloke. Have a look at Stephen Bull. Again, once he fine-tunes things and he ends up in his element, trouble. Tristan McLaren limping across the start-finish line with a damaged front wing, in fact, going to pit lane. So already lap 7, and we've already seen everyone down from 15th to 21st enter pit lane at least once or twice, and Edward Rollo will soon join them via the tow road, I think you'll find. He won't be able to drive that one back. And already 7 cars in trouble. We've got 1 retirement already. That was Joel and Hansen, and that was Matt Schmidt getting his second major incident of the night as well. There's retirement number 2.
So it's Tristan who's actually tripped over him.
Yeah.
So, so Schmitty's, okay. So Schmitty's bashed the outside wall, bounced back into Tristan's very unfortunate path.
Bounced off the wall, literally. Couldn't have bounced back any flusher.
If it had bounced another 1.5 foot more to the left by the time Tristan got there, he would have been safe. He'd have gone by on the right-hand side, but he was just a little bit too close.
Correct. Lap 9.
I was talking to a couple of the guys in Discord earlier today. One, G. Heaney might have been the guy I said it to. If you want to pick up a result tonight, keep it off the fence. It's absolutely unrelenting, this place. If you make a mistake, it's not over. Like, you just, especially with cars like this, you bang the walls here, it just rips a corner off and your night's done. So no chance of a decent result. And at the moment, Aidan Kale and Ethan Morris, their best laps are within 1/1000th of a second. 1/100th of a second. So 108.27 for Aidan and a 108.26 for Morris. But their last few laps, Aiden's been anywhere from a second to 3/10 faster than Ethan. So I think this has probably got a bit to do with fuel saving. He's got
without doubt
all over him at the moment, so he's probably not going to want to give up too much more track position before the yellow comes out. We're still early. We're still only lap 10 of 48 or 11 and a half minutes of 105 minutes total.
65 minutes total, Joe.
65 total, that's what I meant.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm not sure I'd make 105. Starting to hit the wall. It's been a big week.
Josh
Serno kept it off the wall. Nicely done. That has already crunched the wall at least once tonight. There's Morris now dropped to third, so Stephen Bull has gone by. Now, did he use some push to pass to execute that overtake? By the looks of it, yes. Morris still sitting there with 200 seconds push to pass at his disposal, but the car slipping and sliding all over the place at the moment. I'm interested in strategy, Joe. I'm interested on whether they go with the alternate into the primary, into the alternate, or whether this will be the only stint they do on the alternate tonight. It'll be interesting to see what sort of longevity they get out of the primary tyre, and how rapidly or not it deteriorates. Grip will be a factor. We can see that grip is already a factor based on the way in which these things are bumping and sliding around the place as they come back onto the main straight at the end of the 11th lap for these guys. We're on to lap number 12. Bull has broken clear, 0.76 on Ethan Morris, who's just keeping that push to pass in reserve for the moment with a view to probably that second half of the race that we mentioned.
Yeah, definitely. Look, currently it's 51-degree track temperature. These tyres aren't going to be like at their peak for a full stint. Yeah, they're going to be very, very fast early on. But I mean, you've got Nathan Michael, Mav, Jordan Pianazzola. They're on the primes or the alternates, so on the harder tyre. So I would imagine that their tyres are probably going to be coming into it. So we're how far in now? We are 12 laps in. I would expect that these alternate tyres are probably just about at the end of their life with a track temperature of 51 degrees. That'd have to be.
Right, without doubt. Now, the main question is, how are we going with fuel tank capacity? In comes Aidan Carl. That answers the question. In comes Stephen Bull. That answers the question. Ethan Morris continues on for another lap. So, lap 12. So, same as last week, Trucker.
There he
goes. We're looking at potentially 12, 24, 36, get home, 3 stops. But will the safety car and the deployment thereof, that random number that's been already determined by Liam Haycock down in race control, will that throw a spanner in the works with regards to how these guys want to go about playing their strategy tonight? In comes Cale, Bull, Collins, Michael, De La Rosa, and then Pianazzola and Reeves. Yeaman and Heaney not yet on the pit straight to make that decision as to whether or not they're coming to pit lane or not. No, Martin Davis already stopped on lap 5, so he's off sequence anyway. Darren Yeaman comes through, continues on. And so does Greg Heaney. After that T1 parking lot, Joel and Hansen and pulling out with the leaders behind. I just couldn't find my rhythm. Thought best to call it there on a Friday night, says Joel and Hansen. Yeah, sometimes that is the way. Sometimes that is absolutely the best way to do it.
Not worth the stress when you got the leaders on the tail.
No.
But in saying that though, we do have a random safety car, and you would have got your lap back.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's a double negative, isn't it? It's a double-edged sword. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. And if you do that, and then it goes tits up again, pardon the French, if it does that, as soon as you've got your lap back, then you sit there and ponder, well, what could I have done with that other half hour that I've just lost? I've just wasted. In comes Luke Page, Adam Lavis. The top 3 have continued on. Morris, Fenton and Donahue going to 14, and so too, by the looks of this, Dan. No, Yeaman's in this time round, and probably Greg Heaney too. So only Morris, Fenton and Donahue have gone to 14. Everybody else content with the 3-stop strategy down the middle, 12, 12 and 12, it would seem. But, yeah, I'm wondering what the safety car will do to throw the spanner in the works there. 3 laps down after having a tow, was expected to be many more by the end of the... Yeah, that's fair. I mean, you could have banked the points if you finished 75%, but yeah, beer o'clock, I'm all for it. Or whiskey, or rum, or gin, or whatever your poison is. It doesn't matter. Vodka.
Yeaman and Heaney made it to lap 15.
They did, but Drew Collins is on the tow rope with a mechanical meatball as well. So do we have any idea as to what's triggered
we will.
that? Uh-oh, turn one. Wait for it.
Oh,
yep. Slip back.
I know exactly.
Oh, no.
Ooh, who did he get?
That was the Whiskey Business Racing entry, and I'm not sure whether it was Michael or Heaney or Page, one of them. It had to be a Whiskey Business entry racing end.
It was Page.
Yeah, Page.
So I'm trying to find Page. Here he is. Yes, it was.
Exactly the same as what happened there earlier. A car bounces into wall and bounces back onto hot racetrack off the wall. Watch this. 3, 2, 1, bang. Momentum pilots you back into the racing line.
My driver's eye, what I think's happened here, we'll jump back on again with him. He's come down, seen the car coming out of pit lane, so he knows he's going to lose half a lane on the outside. He's probably watching the cars coming out of the pits and has missed his braking marker.
So easily done.
Very easy.
In they come. Morrison Donahue are in. Fenton went a lap earlier. These guys got to the end of lap 15, as Joe said. Now, that's big. That is huge. If they'd had managed to get to 16, we would have been having a discussion about a two-stopper. But are we still having a discussion about the two-stopper? Because if the safety car falls for them at the right time, Joe,
yes,
as in lap 30, lap 31, lap 32, somewhere in that element,
we
could be having a discussion about a two... yep, exactly. Or we're talking about them having more flexibility with regards to when they come in for a third pit stop because they've gone 3 laps longer here. This is going to be interesting. Jinxed him. Yeah, exactly. Correct. We need to see where this safety car falls. That is going to be a big determining factor as to what the lead pack do. Aiden Cale and Stephen Bull on a different strategy to Ethan Morris and Eric Fenton. And look at the margins. Cale is 6 seconds clear of Bull, who's 5 seconds clear of Morris, who's 8 seconds clear of Fenton, who's 4 seconds clear of Donahue. So the guys that have gone longer, they've actually lost ground in the long run. Again, they get that back with the competition caution, and they have gone longer. So if we end up in a position where we could end up with, I'm just trying to diplomatically word this, we could end up in a position whereby, sorry, I'm just getting distracted. Shervo and Emma Friedman are out with the measuring tape.
Shervo's not that well endowed. Come on.
No. Yeah, true. They're talking about. They must be talking about the long jump with regards to the measurements. They've got the measuring tape out showing everybody how it goes on at home. So this is how they kill dead air time that they haven't got any actual live sport to show. This is top shelf television from the 7 Network. So they've got the measuring tape out to show everybody at home exactly how big the jump is of the long jumpers and what the pacing's like, trying to measure that out. Now, going back to this, yeah, we could have a mix of varying strategies with regards to the third stop. The guys that have gone 15-14, they've given themselves a little bit more leverage here. They either won't have to sit on the jacks as long in the second stop during the comp caution, or during the third stop at the end of the race. Very interesting strategy playing out right now, not least the fact that Aiden Cale and Stephen Bull have stayed on the alternates, and everyone else back down to Joe De La Rosa, who's 9th in the next run on the alternates, have gone to the primary tyre as well.
Yeah, I was actually about to bring that up. Aiden Cale and Stephen Bull staying on the alternate tyre, that's a wild one for me, but it comes back to the safety car thing again, right? If that thing comes out before lap 27, 7, lap 28, it's a genius move, right? Because they'll then put on the prime tyre, which will probably be good enough to get them through the finish without changing tyre again, and they'll only have to top it up with fuel. So, Josh Wino, what have you done, lad?
No. Oh, no. I've got a bad feeling about this. Turn 1 claims another victim.
And
or for a change of pace, would it be turn 2? No, it's turn 1.
Oh, turn 1.
And again, he's done well. He's very skilled at keeping it off the wall. He's done that again. Wow. But it's still a costly,
Luke Page.
invoice regardless. Page is still running with that damaged front wing on the back of clipping the spinning car of Drew Collins at turn 1. So he's pushed on. Now, that's really clever. Because, again, you don't want to put yourself off sequence or out of strategy. So he's just trying to persevere with that, and it's doing him no harm at the moment because he's sitting 6th. Try and get through to the second round of pit stops, at least to the window. So here's the other discussion as well, right? So based on 15 laps, the earliest you can stop and get home is the end of lap 33. Because, there's the caution now, so forget about that. That's just thrown everything out of whack. That has just ruined strategy for everybody because it's a 2-stop from here. I would imagine that everybody comes in now, Joe, and then everybody resets and goes again. There's a free pit stop in the offing here. We're only 4 laps into the stint for some and as many as 7 for others. So all that discussion I was making or trying to have with regards to pit strategy, put a line through that, rip it up, chuck it out, burn it. It's done. This will be a 3-stopper. I don't see any reason why any of these guys don't come in this time through. I mean, yes, a lot of them could easily stretch the tank and get themselves to a point a little bit further on in the stint where they come in. But I think everyone comes in under caution. And then we're starting to talk about critical laps. Now, the critical lap for anyone that got to 15 laps in that first stint is 33. But if you only went as many as 12, you got to get to 36. And everybody should be able to fuel up during the safety car period and get to those 2 numbers.
My guess is after this round of pit stops, there probably won't be a driver on a prime tyre.
And I'm guessing...
alternate, sorry. Everybody will be on the prime. And from this point, you want to get onto the prime tyre and run through as far as you can go. So we'll get going again about lap 22, lap 23. You want to run through to at least lap 35, 36. Bang on the another set of alternate tyres and get you home. Full tank of fuel, fast tyre, and made that run home. So I would imagine everyone will be on the prime tyre and a full tank of fuel by the time the safety car gets to turn 4. They'll all be in a conga line ready to go green.
So for Ethan Morris, for Eric Fenson and Tom Donoghue, track position could come their way here because everybody takes a full tank of fuel, but they've got less tank to fill because they've burnt less because they stop later. So this is a big opportunity for them to jump the queue here in this round of pit stops. Oh, hang on. There's a bit of gamesmanship going on. Kale stays out. Morris stays out. Bull, Fenson, Page, Lavis, Michael all go in. Donoghue stays out. There's some gambles. There's some bets being hedged here.
And Kale stopped on lap 12, so he's already done 9 laps.
That is a big one. That's a huge gamble for mine. Can we just get a closer look at that safety car, please, Joe?
The lights are off.
So, yeah, righto. So that makes me question Aidan Cale's strategic thinking even more so.
Oh, hang on a minute.
We know it's a... Oh, hang on.
What?
He's pulled off to the side here.
Hang on. No. Those cars
are going through.
Cars going around. Yep.
Cars are going through. But Aidan Cale will be in the mega save here, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see how he can make it home without 2 stops through the lane. I would have thought for sure that he'd be. I understand Morris and Donahue staying out. They stopped lap 15. This is only lap 5 of their stint. They could possibly have the discussion about stretching it all the way and making it maybe on 2 stops. But Aidan Cale, with a stop on lap 12, I wouldn't have thought would turn his nose up at the opportunity to go down pit lane that time through. That is a strange one. A really strange one.
There isn't a driver in the field, unless you're a lap down. You're nuts to not go through the pits. I don't understand. I don't understand the top 4 cars, Cale, Morris, Donohoe and Pianazzola.
Yeah.
Why they wouldn't have gone through the pits.
That's right. Pianazzola also stopped lap 12. Let's highlight that.
Yep.
So this is lap 8 of his stint. Tristan McLaren has not stopped a second time yet either. He stopped lap 7. He's trying to get his lap back though, so I mean he's probably out of the equation anyway. But what is also worth noting is that the lights are still on the safety car. They are still on. The lights are still on that safety car, so we're going around again.
They've come back on.
So do they take the invitation and go through this time by?
No
do
way.
they take the invitation and go through this time by just to get them back on strategy with everybody else?
You'll drop to the back of the field.
You would, but you'd be back on strategy. Oh boy!
Yeah, the lights have come back on. That's right.
Adios. So
now
we're going around again. But will this be the last lap behind safety car, Joe? Let's just have a look as they come back down the main straight here.
I was just about to say the guys that are down the back on the lead lap should be pitting now. It's going to give them that extra, just that 1 lap of fuel can make all the difference. So smart move by Dan and Tris McLaren. He was actually getting his lap back, so he's
in he comes.
Had to pit anyway. But this is going to work for Tristan. He's going to be the big winner out of all this because he's got his lap back. He's pitted. He's also pitted on the same lap as Dan Yeaman. He's going to be in the lineup behind Dan Yeaman and Glenn Pedersen. So he's brought himself back in with half a chance of even making Caden. That was a mix of Aiden and Cale. Sorry. Yeah. So Aiden, Ethan, Tom, and Jordan. He's going to make their life hard. I don't understand why you wouldn't pit. I mean, I hope these guys prove to me why they didn't and stay on the podium. But I can't understand how they're going to finish up front having not pitted.
No. Morris and Donahue, I completely understand. Lap 15.
15, 5 laps. Yes.
But you're still cutting it fine. If you've been able to save 2 laps of fuel here, great, but you still have to get to lap 32, 33 in order to be comfortable to get home based on the length of your original stint, which was 15 laps in the opening stint.
Could be possible.
It is possible, but they are going to be running on a smell of an oily rag by the end of this one. Joel and Hansen are hoping for a clean restart. I'd be hoping for that as well. Martin Davis and Edward Rollo still important to note. They're still showing a lap down. Josh Sino 2 laps down. They are back of the train here as we get ready to rock and roll once more on the streets of Long Beach. Oh God, the competition caution becomes more chaotic every week.
It does.
29.5 minutes gone and we're on lap 22. So 26 to go this time by the line and 36 minutes on the clock. We're good for time, Joe, which is good news for all and sundry.
Definitely. The one thing that's going to help these guys was that extra lap.
100%.
That extra lap behind, because that's probably, they're only burning maybe a quarter of a lap worth of race pace fuel as we're about to go green.
Let's go. Aiden Cale, Ethan Morris, they check out and take off. Cale especially, all eyes on him right now with a view to the fact that he's 3 laps out of sequence compared to Morris and Donahue. Pianazzola, Fenson's lost out. Fenson's off the road. Eric Fenson's night is done. He's disappeared off the face of the planet. It's an exit, stage right. The old rage quit old F4 for Eric Fenson. Oh dear.
He never actually hit anything.
No. Didn't hit anything, didn't bother going to pit lane, could have flick spun it and got back on with it, but he was like, no, I'm done. But we predicted some sort of chaos. Somebody getting checked up at the restart. It never ceases to amaze nor disappoint. The restarts in the Indycar series here on the streets of Long Beach this time round. My goodness. Eric Fenton, the third retirement of the night, as we make our way around to complete lap number 23. Aidan Carl leads. He's 1.6 clear of Ethan Morris. But again, there's a huge asterisk around this one.
So the people in the box seat now, if they manage their fuel and their pace, is Bull, Mav, Page, Michael and Reeves. Those five go actually right back through. Dan Yeaman is probably going to be even better off because he stopped on lap 21, whereas everybody else stopped on lap 20. So from Steve Bull, Mav, Pagey, Michael, Reeves, De La Rosa and Yeaman, these guys should get home on one more stop. There is zero chance that the top four guys are going to do that. It's not going to happen. They need 2 stops to get home. So that's my... I mind blown why they didn't stop.
Correct.
It's just a matter of don't run full power and you've got to cover the amount of time it takes, as Dan Yeaman just makes a bonds a move on De La Rosa. That was clean. Oh, Greg Heaney, what have you done, lad?
Oh, no. He's dropped down to 15th is what he's done. This is how.
So he must have had an incident and then Collins. Deep.
Too deep for G. Heaney on that occasion.
I won't tell you what she said. But anyway, Steve, it's Steve Bull running for Pedersen, De La Rosa.
Oh, no.
About an incident. Pedersen was back on the lead lap.
Yep.
We did.
Down the inside. No. Pedersen on the inside. And Collins, I don't think has seen him there. Oh, no, sorry, it's De La Rosa, you're right. Both yellow cars, that's what's confusing me. Yeah. De La Rosa on the tie rope, so let's have a look at this again. I don't think De La Rosa's sided Pedersen on the inside. He's gone to turn down, bang.
Okay.
But I don't think at the same time, I don't think Pedersen was going to make the corner.
You just took the words right out of my mouth. There was no way Benny was going to be making that. We'll have another look at that one. He was
trying to pull that one up, wasn't he?
Even the things, I mean, these do stop better than a Porsche, man.
They do.
But not as good as an F1 car. Understeer. So
locked up, gone.
Out of control a little bit, which is unfortunate.
Dear.
I mean, look, when's the last time you've seen Pedersen race an open wheel car? I've never seen Ben Pedersen in an open wheel car before. So
No.
And he's had pretty good pace, let's be honest. Like, his lap times aren't that far off the mark. Like, he's done a 1:08.9. And the best guys have only done Aidan Cale smashed out a 1:07.7 on the last lap. Wow.
He's not holding back.
No.
I think he knows. So secondly, these guys aren't going to get a second competition caution to fall back on, to save their bacon. They need to go now. And Cale's just wound the wick up and then said to Ethan Morris, righto, catch me if you can. 5.2 the margin. But I reckon there's a strong chance that Ethan Morris and Tom Donahue are in fuel save mode already.
Oh, without a doubt. So Steve Bull's one sitting in the box seat at the moment. He stopped on lap 20. Tom Donahue stopped on 15. Jordan Pianazzolo stopped on 12. He just dropped the position of Mav. So the guys that pitted on lap 20, you got Steve Bull, Mav, and Nathan Michael. They're the three guys, and Dan Yeaman, who's the next in line behind Nathan Michael. He's 1.8 seconds back in closing. So that's going to be a battle for the podium, I think, out of those guys, unless Aidan Cale absolutely pulls a rabbit out of the hat. Hey, I doubted the guy who won the last race. Maybe I'm doubting Aidan Cale, and I'm going to be wrong.
Well, see, you and I are one of the same, because we're looking at that first round of pit stop numbers thinking, how on earth can he make this work on a two-stopper?
Well, the biggest number we've seen was 15.
Yeah, that's right. And there it is.
And he's in.
Cale's in. So I think that's shot in the water now. That's dead in the water, that strategy. I don't see any conceivable way that he can go 21 laps in this final stint. But we know that everybody else has got to stop again as well, but that's the problem. He's just gifted track position to those guys that are running on the fuel save.
He has. He's going to come out probably just in front of Heaney.
Drew Collins and Greg Heaney, yeah. In fact, no. Collins has gone through, so maybe Heaney. Well, now I know the other half live in Moz.
They do have better brakes than a Porsche, though, Ben. You have to admit that, but they're not quite that good.
Well done, mate. Very nicely done. Good to have you tuning in here. Post your attempts to have a crack at the open wheelers, and 10 points for effort, of course, 10 points for turning up. We don't mind that, right? We've been saying it for years that we love the guys that'll turn up and have a crack at anything. We love our specialists and our one-make wonders or our one-category wonders, and we've got a lot of those, but ever more increasingly over the course of this year and maybe even last as well, we're seeing them branch out and try other things to try and expand their range and their skill set, Joe. I'm all for it.
Absolutely. Hey, Ben, if you're around, mate, jump in the Discord and come in and have a chat with us about the difference between what you used to and the IndyCar, mate. Don't be shy. Oh, you got avoidable contact, 15-second penalty to stop you getting to the bar.
Which, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's going to amount to nothing anyway because he's already done for the night. Parked up, exit stage left, happy hour for Benny Pedersen. Oh, dear. Very good. So, I'll keep an eye out whether he, and you do as well, Joe, just to see if he does pop up into the green room there. In the meantime, Morris 3 inherits the lead, 2.3 to Stephen Bull. This is a good scrap. Waiting to unfold here. This will be absolutely must-watch compulsory viewing if Morris does the fuel save. Bull is on another pit stop. Morris is on, we reckon, a 2-stop. Bull on a 3-stop. Bull is good on fuel, though, so he can throw caution to the wind here. Morris has to watch his P's and Q's. He has to be mindful of his fuel consumption. He's trying for the 2-stop, surely. And he's on lap 15 of this stint now, Joe.
Oh, God. If he does it, it's, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how he'd possibly do it on one more stop. I mean, we know Aiden Cale was never going to do it stopping on lap 12. That was just a...
No.
No way.
Hang on. Asking you shall receive, Mr. Baldwin. The great B. Patterson, on the back of the disappointment of last night, is in the booth tonight. Let's have a chat, mate. Nice to see you here. Bit of a surprise to see you rock up on a Friday night. What sort of enticed you to come and have a steer at the IndyCar, please?
Oh, 100%, no ABS. Thought I'd give it a crack. They're good fun.
They are indeed. They're terrific fun. Bit difficult to get your head around, and obviously you found that out very quickly here that they're not a straightforward bit of kit. Testament to the guys that actually drive them and drive them well. But from your standpoint, what were the main challenges?
Other than turn one.
Well, knowing how to drive them, I think, just as a general blanket statement, really. But look, that was good fun. I'm going to drive them a bit more. I need to map all the buttons and gizmos, though, because I've got no idea about that. But, yeah, I'm going to drive it a bit more. It's good fun.
Is this on the back of, obviously, you've been such a Porsche man for the longest time. We know your disdain for the pogo stick that you're driving at the moment there. Is there some fire in the belly for you to go and try different things, to try and expand your presence in the iRacing universe, to try and get more value for money out of what's available on the platform, generally speaking?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I need to find something to keep the love going, because you guys know, I don't know if it's something to do with my setup or whatever, but with ABS, it just feels dead. Like, I can't feel, you know, the peak force of what you need to do with the car consistently, and it's just not clicking. So I don't know. So look, I'll try a lot of different things, have a bit of fun. That's what we're here for.
What pedal set are you running, Ben?
Sorry, say that again?
What pedal set are you running? Oh, what pedals?
I've got the ultimate clutch and go pedal, and I've bought one of the SimiCube active brake pedals.
Yep. I had that combination myself there a while back, and I actually went back from the active pedals to the ultimates again with the little shakers on it. I couldn't get my head around the active pedals. They just never felt right for me.
Yeah, look, you can tinker for ages and lose yourself in it. That's the problem.
Absolutely.
And I found that when I first got them as well. So I picked them up, it would have been, I think, November last year, I think. And when you're constantly tinkering, you're not really, you're not practicing with them and getting better. You're just searching for something that isn't there. So,
yep.
So we're boring, mate. Sorry, pal.
No. Thorn Weggett, I'm just picking up on that comment whilst it's on the screen, Betty. Thorn Weggett is with you with regards to the Porsche. The P Cup car is just.
I couldn't agree more. Look, the 991. I hated that car until the 992 came out. And then I fell in love with the 991. Like, it was amazing to drive compared to the 992 when they first dropped it. Then they had a couple of iterations of it. And Ben, I'm sure you'll probably agree. When they first dropped the 992, it was a terrible piece of whatever. Like, it was horrible to drive, but they fixed it. And it ended up being a really, really great race car. This 992.2... I think I've pulled it out of the garage twice. I can't stand the thing. It just, you're right. Now especially now with the 3D curbs and stuff like that, you touch a curb on the wrong angle. If you've got any steering input in when they land, bounce, bang, bang, away, and you're off the road. Like, there's just no in between with them. Like, it's, you either got to land with the wheels dead straight or you're bouncing. Like, I can't get my head around what the car requires.
Now, there's an interesting thing there. I'm coming to you in a moment, Benny. So watch this. There's two things going on at the moment. One, the Porsche discussion, and Thorne's weighing in the comments there. I'd rather just use the Porsche GT3 car as a solo series if they want ABS, he says. So he's obviously comparing the 992.2 to the Porsche GT3 that we see on a Monday night. And that's a fair comparison because we often look at the Porsche GT3 as a competitive beast and mongrel of a car in its own right. So let's have a chat about that at a later point in time. Let's also acknowledge what's going on in your screen, and that is that the two boys, Ethan Morris, Tom Donahue, they've done what they needed to do, Joe.
He made it to 34.
Exactly what they needed to do. They made it to the end of lap 33. They're on lap 34. They're 15 from home. They've met their parameters. They've met their number. They got to lap 33, which was their critical lap. They are on the run to the flag with 15 laps. We've got two distinct strategies at play here. We're also now in the window for Stephen Bull, Adam Lavis and Dan Yeaman to make their way in. There are 7 seconds separating Bull and Yeaman, but this is far from over because you're going to have Bull and Lavis be able to run caution to the wind here. They're going to be able to, burn a little bit more fuel if they need to. They're not going to have to be so conscious of that. These guys that have stopped lap 33, they're going to be coughing and spluttering across the line if they put a foot wrong.
So here's Nathan Michael. He's the first guy to pit last, along with
Leslie Reeves and Drew Collins. Yeah.
Yes. So Ethan Morris, Leslie Reeves, Drew Collins, and Nathan Michael. They're all the guys that should get home without another stop. Steve Bull, Mav, and Yeaman, if I was them guys, I'd be pitting now and putting on as much fuel as you need to get home, and I'd be putting on the alternates, which is exactly what Ethan Morris has got on. So Morris has got the alternate tyre on, so has Aiden Carl, he's got the prime tyre on, but we all know he's got to make another stop. No way he's going to make it.
No way in hell. I got more chance of playing indoor sport at the end of this broadcast than he's got of making it on 3 stops. Without a third stop, I should say. He needs to stop again. Stephen Bull, Adam Lavis, Daniel Yeaman all in now. There's the critical up for them. Importantly, the margin was 6.4 between Bull and Lavis at that point. We're watching Aiden Carl. We're watching Ethan Morris. They're the two we're watching. Cale's going to come back round. Surely he's stopping in the next couple of laps. He stopped lap 27. We know he's got to get to lap. He'll probably get as far as lap 41. He doesn't need to worry about that now. He can stop now and get home. There's not a second caution to fall back on. We're 45 and a half minutes into the race. That was a spin for Leslie Reeves, Tristan McLaren, Luke Page also on pit road that time through. Benny Pedersen's still here, folks. We'll get back to him in a moment. There's a lot going on at this particular point, but it's between Stephen Bull and Ethan Morris. Morris got just ahead of Bull! Just ahead of Bull! We've got a ball game, ladies and gentlemen, because Stephen Bull is good on fuel. Ethan Morris, we know, is stretching it as far as he can to do it on 2 stops. Bull is good to go, and we've got a game on our hands here. Morris on the alternate tyre, Bull on the primary, and plenty of push to pass to burn for both gentlemen. Game on the streets of Long Beach. Josh Zuno's got yet another black flag. Jeez, he's racking them up tonight, isn't he?
He is. Morris has proven me wrong again. Bloody hell. Daiso did it in the last one. Morris has done it in this one.
None from 2 for Trucker so far tonight, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go back and continue. Obviously, I want to keep an eye on what jumps up on screen here, and as I need to jump in, I obviously will. But let's go back to you boys. I don't mind what Thorne's saying there, because there's a lot of love for that Porsche GT3 car. So if we were to do that as a solo series, I think that would be well received as well, Betty. But at the same time, everybody's in the same boat. You've got to get your head around that 992.2. You've had added opportunities to do that with your presence in the Mazda Racing Porsche Pro Invitational, with mixed results, obviously, unfortunately. How are you finding that step up into that next level of competition in sim racing in Australia, by the way?
Well, look, I haven't really been working on it at all, so I'm finding myself in the middle of the pack, and mate, some of the spatial awareness in that league is lacking somewhat. I mean, I can't talk half the time, but it's been pretty messy, mate. Like, I've never seen so many yellow flags in my life. But yeah, there's some quick guys, like they're super quick. You know, just there's just no regard for anyone else on the track. Like it's just a destruction derby.
Right, that's exactly right. That is Joe De La Rosa down at the end of the main straight. Getting all caught up as well, and not for the first time tonight. It's interesting though, Trucker. I didn't mind Thorne's. I mean, everyone comes out with interesting ideas when we're talking about what to do to entice people to come and have a play. Obviously, I need to pick Benny's brain with regards to what else he's going to branch out and have a crack at in his explorative phase of his sim racing journey here. But I didn't mind the idea from Thorne to get the Porsche GT3 that we synonymously associate with Monday Night Motorsport out to see if there's any love for that, more so than what there is for the pogo stick.
Yeah, look, I think the GT3 Porsche version of the car, for the guys that are good in GT3, which I'm not, I'm first one to admit it, there's a lot of love for that car. Like blokes generally that like that car like the GT4 version of it. They like the 992, not the 2.2, but yeah, so that's probably not such a bad idea. Or we could go and have the dirty Porsche, the early one. Hang on a minute.
The 992.1.
No. There was one that was
earlier.
Yeah. Hang on, just let me go. Just speak amongst yourselves, and I'll come.
Will do.
I'll come back with the car in a second. Hang on.
Josh Suno's now got a mechanical meatball, by the way. Jordan Pinazzola at pit lane. That'll be his last stop of the night. So who still has to stop? By my count, no one. Everyone else should be right to go through. The fact, except for Joe De La Rosa and Aidan Carl. They're the only two that I would imagine have to stop again. Everybody else should now be right to tear it to shreds between here and the checkered flag. We've got 10 laps to go, 39 to 48. 50 minutes gone for you, ladies and gentlemen. Aidan Carl, the leader, but we know he's due on pit road right now. There it is. Bang. Let's go.
I was just, that was one I was trying to remember what the code word was. The rough. So initially, iRacing could not get Porsche to license cars. So they went to the company RUF, who they buy Porsches, modify them, put four-wheel drive systems in them, and do all sorts of things. And they actually licensed to iRacing. Then Porsche went, oh, okay then, and they gave iRacing licenses. But one of the car, the rough RT12 rear-wheel drive version, 675 horsepower, 700 foot-pound of torque, 6-speed sequential gearbox, and it's a 3.8 litre twin turbo. Why not run a single series make with that car? Or there's the track version, which basically is the 991. Yeah, that's 493 horsepower and same sort of thing. But yeah, I know the track car, that thing's a monster. We used to run that in a Friday night league many years ago. Used to have a lot of fun races in the rough.
Have a look at Josh Zuno replying to Dale Sharp. Dale Sharp, Sir Crash a lot, I think he goes by in reference to his own night. So there's your third retirement of the evening. Thorn Wiggett's down for that idea, Joe, of yours. Now, there's what happened to Jordan Pianazzola. Turn 5.
Oh, pinch rear.
And he lost it on the bump too. You saw him get uneasy, and he's come through. And he'll be heading back to pit lane, I would imagine, this time. So this is spaced out significantly now. Ethan Morris leads 3.2 to Stephen Bull. Now, what'll work in Morris's favour is push to pass and the alternate tyre. But what works in Stephen Bull's favour is the fact that Morris has got to be conscious of his fuel burn. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. Hey, Benny, where else are you looking to explore and have a taster of, have a tester of with regards to the sim racing universe, mate? Because it's far and wide, it's varied. There's a lot of options on the table. You've been a Porsche specialist for a while. You're having a dabble in the Indycar now. You want to continue to see how this goes for you. What else, and just how much discipline and how much work and how much time is going to be involved in trying to hone the craft? Because really, Porsche's a unique skill set in its own right, and everything else has its own unique challenges.
Yeah, look, I'll probably dabble in the V8s when I can be bothered to redo the pedals on my rig, because at the moment my brake's not close enough to my accelerator pedal to heel toe, and obviously you need to do that to keep the car balanced when braking, and helps with conserving the tyres. Yeah, well, I don't mind the M2 either. It actually drives very similar to my road car, so I have a little bit of fun on that. But look, I'll give Tom a bit of a go. Sorry, go.
Donahue, turn 1. That helps Dan Yeaman out. Yeaman holds 4th. What a comeback from Dan Yeaman. He and Adam Lavis are duking it out for 3rd in the motor race. And they're good on fuel. Yeaman on 4 stops as well. So you've got a 2-stop in Ethan Morris. You've got a 3-stop in Stephen Bull and Adam Lavis. You've got a 4-stop in Dan Yeaman fighting it out for the podium tonight. And Morris has got this race under control, 3.4 seconds. Bull hasn't been able to go with him. But we'll wait and see. We will wait and see. Aidan Cale is all over the back of Luke Page now, like a cheap suit on the comeback trail. Just how far back can he get? But the damage has been done. The invoice to Ethan Morris, 25 seconds. He's only got 134 seconds of push to pass left at his disposal as well. So Cale's hopes have been dashed. The best he can probably hope for now is position number 6. Nathan Michael to pit road. That's I guess that's a little bit unexpected to see him for a 4th pit stop. So
what's the other gizmo the car's got? You got push to pass. What's the other thing?
There's the hybrid system. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah, I think so. How often do you get to use that? Because I didn't map it.
No, I'm not sure, to be honest with you, mate. I've got no idea. The mechanics and the little nuances of race cars are not my specialty. I just work on the mathematics and the who's who in the zoo components of that. And everything else I try and work out, but it's like trying to explain anything scientific to me. It just goes in one ear and out the other. I'm not sure what went on there, boys. I had no sound coming through there for a moment. The sound's come back. As long as I can hear you pair and you pair can hear me, I guess we're good. Or not.